Welcome to the show, Connie.
Hey,
It's been 20 years and 3 months since I've seen you like this.
yes, many years.
So, for those who don't know what we mean, is we went to school together.
We sure
You
did.
were
I
the
was
first
telling my
person
kids
now
about
on
you.
this show that I know from growing up. I didn't really know you until sophomore year because I went to Paul Six freshman year, and then I transferred back to public school because I hated Catholic school.
Mhm.
And I went to Audubon because I missed all my friends because I went to Kershaw, Mount Ephraim,
Yeah.
all those years.
Mm-hmm.
And I had all my friend group, my friend group, like you were around.
Yeah.
And, um, and then when I transferred back to Audubon, I met you day one because, without saying your last name, you were sitting right by me in homeroom all three
Yep.
years. You were like, if not right by me, like right here, right there. Like we were always near each other because our last names are like so close by.
Yep.
So I was thinking about it earlier. I was like, damn, we
Yeah.
were like right by each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that's crazy. I was like, but we never really became like friends.
Mm-mm.
We didn't like ever have beef. Like we never hated on each other. You would be like fuck around and be mean sometimes, but that was you.
Yeah.
That was just
I
your
mean,
personality. And we'll get into
yeah.
that. We'll find out the reasons why in a couple minutes. I
Yeah.
just want to catch up a little bit here and let everyone in the audience know, who we are, where we come from. Um, yeah, so we went to school together. We had some classes together, I'm sure, throughout the years.
Yeah. You used to text in your pocket. I told my
Yeah,
kids
you
about. I was
remember that
like,
shit.
yes, I said that's when we had to work for them text messages. I was like,
Yeah.
he literally would have his phone in his pocket sending everyone a text message in class. And the teacher was like, "Who's texting?" We're like, "No one."
That's what it is. That T9 bullshit. When you got to
Yes,
hit the C, to get a C, you had to hit 2-3 times.
yes. You worked for that one, but I was
Yeah,
like, this kid.
I was good. I was
Yeah.
smooth with it. I definitely knew how to text my phone because I always wore a hoodie,
Mm-hmm.
and I would be hoodie in the pouch, plop it out, look at the screen, pop it
Uh,
back in, text away. I wouldn't even double check that shit. I was so
no.
confident. Right.
Well, you were good. You were
Yeah.
good.
And we both smoked cigarettes back
Yeah.
then. I'm not sure if you still do. Do you still smoke?
No, I
I
don't
quit.
smoke.
I quit
I quit.
January. I quit January 1st.
I quit officially quit. I want to say my son is 16, so about 13 years.
No shit.
Yeah.
Damn. Congrats.
Yeah.
That's awesome. No, I just quit January 1st after 25 years.
Dang.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's rough.
I was smoking, because like my AC sucks in my bedroom right now, so
Oh, you're fine.
I got my little thing here. But I went 13 to 38, a pack or two a day. Because
That
like
wasn't that bad.
like I never went to jail or anything in my
Mm-hmm.
addiction, so I was never like out of cigarettes in jail. I went to rehab once, but you could smoke in rehab.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the psych ward for 3 days last December, so I couldn't smoke then. I just had a patch on. I quit last November for like 11 days, and then I relapsed on Xanax because I was so stressed out from not smoking cigarettes. I started taking Xanax. And then I started smoking again because I was high on Xanax. And then I was smoking again. And I came home from the psych ward December 11th. My clean date's December 5th.
Mm-hmm.
I overdosed December 4th. And I went into the hospital December 5th. And I was in the hospital for 3 or 4 days. And then the psych ward for 72 hours. And then I came home back to Pennsylvania. I live in Bloomsburg, PA now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 2.5 hours from town.
Gotcha.
But the psych ward I went to, ironically, was in Philly. It was in Philly, yeah, all the way down Philly. And it was randomly. I didn't pick it. It was just the first bed that opened up.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got home from the psych ward, my wife quit smoking. She was a vape. My wife's non-binary, they, them. So I'll try to say they, them.
Mm-hmm.
They were a smoker of vaping. and they quit vaping last July, and they weren't like pressuring me to quit, but they at the same time like, hey, I quit, like,
Yeah.
eh.
Yeah.
And so when I got home from the psych ward, I said, give me the end of the month, January 1st, I'll toss them, I'll be done. And I did. I smoked December 31st, and then I had like 4 left, and it was freezing the next day. And I smoked the last 4, and around like noon, I smoked my last one January 1st and threw the pack I threw the lighter and the pack into the trash outside of my apartment complex. So yeah, I was like, and I quit smoking weed last April. So like I don't smoke shit now,
Yeah.
I was a big pot smoker for 25 years too. 13 to 38. I was a huge pothead. So
I was a pothead in high school. Not too many people knew that, but I was a big
I didn't know that. No,
yes.
See? We're gonna learn some stuff today, Connie.
Yes.
No, yeah, that's all. We're gonna get there. We'll get there. We'll catch up. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. And I'm a drug addict, but I'm clean. Mm-hmm. And I have years of sobriety from like alcohol and like opiates, my 2 biggest drugs of choice. So, and then I had some slip ups with Xanax throughout the years. Like when my dad died, I was devastated. I knew it was going to happen because he had stage 4 cancer for a year.
Yeah.
So like the writing was on the wall. I was preparing myself. But when it finally did happen, he got to die seeing me clean and sober at least. But I went back to work, and then I was so stressed, and I was, just fucking miserable.
Mm-hmm.
That guy was my best friend. My name is JD because I'm the 4th in my family.
Yeah.
We have the same name. You know what I mean? Like, look the same, sound the same, ran a business together with my brother, like spent so much time together. And we talked to almost every day, even when I lived 5 hours away from him. Like we talked almost every day. So, I got, and then I haven't bought pills or anything, street drugs since opiates in 2018. But when I relapsed, I hit my psychiatrist up and I was like, I need something. And then he gave me Ativan, and then I started abusing it. And I was like, I need something stronger. Then he gave me Valium, started abusing that. And then I quit everything again. That's when I quit smoking weed. And then smoking the cigarettes happened that November. And that's when I hit my doctor up again. And he's like, I'll give you Valium. I said, not strong enough. And he goes, I'll give you Xanax. I said, all right. And then he gave me a script of Xanax, 1 milligram Xanax, which are pretty strong. Mm-hmm. I'm a big dude, obviously. And like you can see that, and you knew who I was. I went through a 90 count script in 5 days.
Oh, damn.
And I hit him up and I said, they weren't strong enough. I need something stronger because I'm already done the script. And this doctor should have said no.
He should have.
And he goes, all right, I'll give you 2 milligrams. And he gave me a 30-day, 90 count script for 3 a day of 2 milligram ones. And I went through 40 in 3 days. And that's when I overdosed.
Damn.
Yeah.
He should have said no.
He should have said no. Yeah. He's no longer my psychiatrist.
Mm-hmm.
I got a new psychiatrist since then. And yeah. And my wife would always say, because I would always do virtually. I do everything telehealth. Mm-hmm. And like therapy is telehealth and psychiatry is tele. And they would always say, like, he sounds high when he's talking to you. And we're pretty sure he is just like, just I could manipulate him into giving me anything I wanted. Straight up. Like, it was not, yeah. So now I have a very good psychiatrist who gives a fuck.
That's good.
Not that he didn't give a fuck. He just was more like, yeah, whatever, here you go. All right, yeah, here you go. And just like, and he knew I was a drug addict, and he just would be like, okay, here you go. In my history, he shouldn't have did that. But either way, I'm not here to trash talk him, Ryan Solowanowitz. His name.
Just saying.
Yeah, nothing to do with Ryan Solowanowitz. Anyway, try to spell that name anyway. I can't still spell it.
Even try.
So yeah, Ann Arbor, Michigan.
But we don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, no. He wasn't with Geisinger Health System either.
Some things haven't changed, JD.
Nah. Okay, that's enough with trash talking him. Brian Zowanowitz, Ann Arbor, Michigan, Geisinger.
Yes.
So yeah, I have a new psychiatrist now, and I don't fuck around with anything. You know, I even quit drinking coffee. I quit drinking coffee like 2 months ago.
Oh, wow.
I found myself drinking like 14, 18 cups a day. Like I got still on my desk because I work in here too from home.
Mm-hmm.
This was my coffee mug, right? This much would be French vanilla creamer, and then this much would be coffee.
I can't talk. I drink. I drink a lot of coffee.
Do you?
I try to scale back, but yeah,
I have a feeling that you're an iced coffee person for some reason.
No, I hate iced coffee.
Really? Okay. All right.
I hate it.
So I never drank coffee until I dated Colleen.
Mm-hmm.
Colleen was a huge coffee drinker, and she loved to have cigarettes and coffee, so that's when I got into it.
Yeah.
And then when Colleen died, I stopped drinking coffee. And then when I got clean in 2018, I started drinking coffee again. You know, 'cause that's what you do when you get sober. You start drinking coffee.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But then I was drinking so much fucking coffee. And, you know, I was gaining weight. And turns out I was gaining weight from a medication that he gave me that he shouldn't have given me.
Mm-hmm.
Again, not trash talking him, Ryan Zowanowitz, Geisinger. And it was Zyprexa, and I gained 100 pounds in a year and a half.
Oh, dang.
And, you know, I'm thinking maybe it's coffee and I'm drinking too much creamer because I do use a shitload of creamer.
Yeah.
Like I just showed you, like I use a lot of creamer.
Yeah.
And, but I can't drink black coffee and I have to have that flavor. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just done drinking coffee. I got to lose weight. Like, I'm just going to be done drinking coffee too. And I quit coffee cold turkey back in June. So now my wife drinks, you know, 6 cups a day, maybe. Like, you know, when I say 6 cups, I mean when it's measured on the coffee pot, you know.
Yeah.
Like 6 cups, but you know what I mean. But yeah, so that's a little bit about me now. Like you said, nothing's changed. Not everything's changed. Still fuck around and all my bullshit.
Yeah.
Now, where were you born, Connie? Back in the day, are you from? You're not. Have you always lived in Audubon? Like back in the day?
I was. Okay. No. I was born in Summers Point, New Jersey.
That north?
That's Atlantic County. So
okay.
Yeah. And then we moved to Puerto Rico.
No shit.
Yeah, and then when I was 5, we moved back to the States because my older brother, I'm sure you remember him.
No, I don't. I only knew your younger brother.
Oh, well. Oh, I think by the time you got there.
We don't got to say any names, but I knew your brother that was like a year younger than us, right?
Because my older brother, I think by the time you got there, my older brother was already in alt school. Because he was bad as shit. Yeah, he was bad as hell.
Yeah. Because like I said, I didn't go to Audubon until
your
sophomore year. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think by then he was already going to Sterling. He was bad.
Oh shit. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So when he started school, we moved to Camden. And then from Camden, we moved to Lindenwold. Then from Lindenwold, we moved to Hamilton.
You're just jumping woods. You're just jumping from
Yes, my mom was. And then that's how we ended up in Audubon. And I hated Audubon. I hated it.
So you said your mom. Did your dad and your mom stay together?
No, they were separated. They got divorced when I was in my late 20s. I think I was 29, but they were separated since I was 1.
No shit.
Yeah.
Your younger brother, is that the same mom and dad?
No. My older brother and I have the same mom and dad. My younger brother has a different dad.
Okay.
My dad was what I like to call a popcorn dad. I knew when he had a new girlfriend, because then he was like Father of the Year, you know, all that good stuff. And then I knew when they would break up, because then he would disappear. Like, I haven't spoken to him since 2016 now. So it's been almost 10 years that I've spoken to my father. And I haven't spoken to my mother. It's been a few months now. So I have those moments where for my mental health, I have to, because they're just too much sometimes.
Yeah, and we'll catch up to that eventually, you know, in your story. Because now my dad's passed, and my mom and I talk a couple times a week, maybe. But we never had any kind of bullshit, you know, between us, my mom and I.
Yeah.
And but my wife, their dad left when they were 2, and then didn't see him until he died. No contact with him until the day he died. He ended up getting married across town and starting a family with someone else. And you know, and back in the 80s, you could just disappear across town.
That's true.
Social media and shit. And then they haven't talked to their mom except for like maybe randomly they went no contact like 2 years ago on their mom because they had to for their mental health.
Yeah.
So like I've seen that firsthand from seeing my wife do no contact with their mom and how tough it is, you know, at the same time, but how freeing it is.
Yes.
But again, we'll get there. Yeah. So your mom was bouncing you around. It sounds like you went down to Puerto Rico with your mom.
Yeah.
It was just your
mom and my two brothers.
Yeah. Okay. So that's your family dynamic. You got your older brother, you in the middle, and then your younger brother.
Yes.
Okay. And all three of you and your mom went down to Puerto Rico.
Yes. My mom left.
Her family down there? Did she have her mom and dad down there or something?
Well, my great grandmother was there. My grandmother was here. Actually, what had happened was my father was very abusive. So my father's mother, she was in the hospital. And from my understanding, I hear different stories. My dad had hit my mom really bad one day. And my grandmother told her she needed to leave. So my mom, she bought the tickets for us because back then, you know, you can pay cash at the counter for an airline ticket. It was just, you know. So
did you need a passport to get to Puerto Rico back then?
No, we still don't. Yeah. So we went to go visit my grandma, and then we ended up going to Puerto Rico, and we moved back when I was 5. And that was the first memory I have of my father. Not a very good one, but the first one I have of him. And we basically spent a lot of our life running from him, but at the same time trying to build a relationship with him. It was weird. It was just a weird dynamic that my mom had. And it was a crazy transition because we didn't know a lick of English. And I was the first one to pick it up. So I'm the first one learning it. And so I have to teach my older brother and my younger brother how to speak English while I'm still trying to learn how to speak English. My mom knew English, but my great grandmother, she knows some. My grandma knows not a lick, you know, so it was mainly Spanish.
That is impressive because I never knew you grew up that way in Puerto Rico because like I would have never guessed that because your English is so spot on.
Yeah. That's what everybody says.
You know what I mean? Like you have an accent, you know, you got a Puerto Rican accent or Spanish accent, but that's more like, I figure that's like more like, that's your attitude. You know?
Yeah. It comes out when they said the kids come by. The Jersey Puerto Rican came out, Mom.
Yeah, Jersey Puerto Rican.
It comes out. It'll come out, and my husband be like, "I'm like, listen."
So you come back when you're 5. Why'd you guys come back to Jersey?
Because my mom's family and my brother in Puerto Rico, the school system's not that good. So since my older brother was going to school, my mom moved back, and we ended up going to St. Christopher's in Camden.
Okay.
And so then that's where
we ended up. How much older is your older brother? How many years?
We're only a year and I want to say 16 days. So
a year. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. We were very close. And then my younger brother is like about 2 years. Like he just turned. So I'll be 39. He just turned 37. Yeah, because I'll be 39. So we kind of like some years is like back boom, but it's like we're so close.
Wait, I'll be 39 too. I'll be 39 September 29th. When are you 39?
November 25th. I'm a sad.
Okay, so I got you on. I got you a little bit. All right, so you're all really close then in age.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. You know, my brother and I are 3 years apart, and my sister and I are 9 years apart. But we're all very close, you know, when it comes to like our relationships. Even though I'm the only drug addict one in the family, you know, I'm still very close with my brother and sister. We still FaceTime, all three of us, just all the time. My brother and I have a podcast that we do sometimes. It's not a consistent one because he's got a wife and kid and works so much. And sometimes we'll like get my sister on the podcast with us and fuck around. It's more like just a bullshit one. It's nothing like to be take serious.
Yeah.
But you know, we're really close. And we try to be there for our mom as much as possible because of being alone now. And my mom has her hands full. My sister's got 2 kids, and they're a year and 8 days apart.
Woo! I thought mine
And
were close.
and they are right now they're 2 and 1 years old. So the 2-year-old is the girl, and the 1-year-old's the boy, and they are adorable together. The girl's always kissing them and hugging them and like just loving on them, and they're just so funny together. And yeah, so it was unfortunate though. My dad passed June 12th of 2023, and then McKenna, my niece, was born 2 weeks later.
Oh, so he didn't get to meet her?
No. Oh. But and my sister, and he called it being a girl though. My sister didn't find out the sex until she wanted to wait until she had the baby to find out the gender for both kids. And, you know, my dad was right that it was going to be a girl. And my brother's got a little girl too that's 4 years old, and she's funny as hell. She goes to Jinpei, and yeah, she's funny. But anyway, that's crazy. You're all so close in age. So you go to Puerto Rico for 5 years. School system sucks. You're like, fuck it, going back to Jersey. But she took you to like a school district in Camden, and you might as well stay in Puerto Rico for school system.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And it's like I understand because she was a single mom, and back then, there was not as much help as people get now. So it's like she went to Camden County College. She still works there. And she was a work study student, and she was just starting with nothing. When I say that my father left us with nothing, I mean nothing. So thinking back on it, there are some choices that she made that I'm like, all right, as a single mom, I understand why you made that choice. Yeah. But then there's some choices that I'm like, that shit was questionable. Like, real question. You know, so it's just when we went to Lindenwold, it was a little bit better. It wasn't.
Where was your dad at this whole time, Connie?
He lived in Hamilton.
Okay, down by Atlantic City.
Yeah, so
which would explain why you were born in Summers Point.
Yeah, because my mom.
Hamilton's right by Atlantic City and right by.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
My mom lived in Wharton Park, which is next to Hamilton, and then they went to school together. My dad was from Egg Harbor Township. They went to school together, and that's how they met. They met in high school. They were married at 15 and 17.
Married at 15. Shut the fuck up. Married at 15?
My mom was married at 15 and had her kids 16, 17, and 19.
What?
Yeah. Yep.
She's 19 years old and moving 3 kids that are all under 3 years old to Puerto Rico by herself?
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine. My daughter's 18, and I'm like, when I turned 15, I looked at my mom like, I asked my grandma, I was like, are you crazy? You know? And then when I got pregnant with my daughter at 19, that's when my mom had all 3 of her kids. I was sitting here like, her father was like, let's get married. I'm like, I ain't marrying you just because we got a kid together, you know? Yeah. And I'm like, and I'm glad I didn't marry him because we were, you know, and now my daughter's 18. I'm like, I could not imagine. And she's in a serious relationship. And I would still be like, hell no, you're not getting married at no 18 years old. And my mom was married at 15. Like, you wouldn't even have to take care of yourself.
Like 15, because like, that's like, well, it's early 80s, obviously. Mm-hmm. She would have got married in what, 83, 82, 84?
No, she got married 85.
85?
Yeah.
Oh, 16, 17, and 19 is when she had her kids. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, did she get married because she got pregnant?
Yes.
Now, was she told to get married because she got pregnant?
Yeah, my grandfather called, from what my grandparents have told me. My grandmother found out my mom was pregnant. She was trying to hide it. My grandfather sat down with my father and said, if you are man enough to get my daughter pregnant, you're man enough to take her on, marry her, and make her an honest woman.
Was it also because of religion?
My grandfather wasn't a real religious person. My grandmother.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was more of like a thing like what you're supposed to do when that happens. Step up and be a man. And basically, you want to be an adult and have a kid, then you're going to be an adult and get married.
That part.
Gotcha. Yep. Old school mentality. And unfortunately, that's wild. That's fucking wild. But it happens. And that I was going to ask about her parents, you know, because at 15 they would have to sign off on that shit, right?
Yes.
They had to sign off on that. How old was your dad? How much older was he?
He was 17.
It's not that bad. It's not that much difference.
No.
Holy shit. Like, it's not okay. I'm glad he wasn't like some predatory dude.
Yeah.
2 years apart. That's not anything crazy. If he would have been in his 20s, that'd have been kind of like sketchy. So I'm glad he was around the same age and they were both under 18 when they got married.
Yeah.
How was his parents when he was told he had to get married at 17?
Well, I honestly don't know much about his parents.
Okay.
My grandmother, shortly after we moved to Puerto Rico, she passed away. The rumor is that my father is the reason for her death. I don't know how true that is. I wasn't there. And then my grandfather, after my grandmother died, my great grandmother had told me that he had killed himself, and there was a men's civic club, and he just shot himself in the men's civic club after my grandmother. They had 17 kids. Like their life was just based. So yeah, my dad is the youngest of 17. Yeah. They didn't have TV back then. Remember that? They raised so many. Yeah. So my dad's the youngest boy of 17. And they tell me that, I mean, my from what I hear different stories, my grandmother, my paternal grandmother was not really for it. She didn't like my mom. At first, she mistreated my mom, and his siblings mistreated my mom because they felt that, they
all 16 of them.
Well, half of them had passed away. Actually, one of his siblings passed away on their wedding day. They didn't get a honeymoon because at the wedding they got a phone call. They found them murdered.
Murdered?
Yeah, they were murdered. So my father's family's into crime, drugs, alcohol, crime, like stupid petty stuff. My father was a predator,
drug dealing. Like drug dealing. And you said your dad was involved in that too?
Yeah, he'll tell you I don't do drugs. He snorts cocaine, all that stuff. Till this day, when he had his surgery, I knew he was a drug addict because he was popping them perks and left and right, and he would get extra. Yeah. He would doctor hop and sell some and take some, and so he was into that too.
Yeah, I used to doctor shop back in the day, and so but the story's not about me. People know that about me though. I used to doctor shop. And I'm that outgoing guy that like I went to a place where they only took cash, not insurance. Mm-hmm. And you know how you got to get a referral to see a specialist for something?
Oh yeah.
To go to this place, your referral had to come from another patient, not a doctor. And that was basically the other patients say, "No, he's cool. Like you can see him."
Oh, one of them.
That was the referral you needed. Yeah, $250 the first visit, and then $150 every visit after that, every 28 days. Mm-hmm. And I got so friendly because I'm an outgoing, talkative person, and I got to become so friendly with the staff there. When that doctor was getting arrested for what he was doing, I had already been going there 2 years, and they were in what fucking town is that? It's right past the Cherry Hill DMV. Is where I used to go.
Yeah, I know the area you're talking about.
Yeah,
I can't remember what town.
I can't remember the town name. Not Maple Shade. Either way, it doesn't matter. Cinnaminson.
Yes. I think it's either. Yeah, that is Cinnaminson in that area. Because right by.
Yep. Right. And it's right off 130. If you're going from this way, it's 130. If you come from this way, you're passing through Cherry Hill, and you pass the Cherry Hill DMV where you do the test. The driver's test.
Yeah, so there's Cinnaminson, there's Collingswood,
it's Cinnaminson.
It's Cinnaminson. Yeah.
I would get there, turn left and then right, and I was at the place. And it was a house. It was at a house. Yeah. And the sign out front said weight management, and I get there the first time and I'm like, all right, what am I going to tell these doctors? Like I got no proof of anything. And I was like, at the time I was addicted to Roxy 30s and Xanax. Ooh. And I sat down with them. I had been an addict for 3 years at this point. Mm-hmm. It was like 2011 and 2012. Either way, I sat down and I was like, I got this bad car accident a couple years ago, and I haven't. He goes, "Well, what are you looking for?" Like he cut me off, like he was in a rush. He's like, "Well, what are you looking for?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "What do you need?" And I was like, 120, 30 milligram roxycodone and 121 milligrams Xanax. He's like, see you in 28 days, make your appointment at the desk.
Dang, that was that easy.
Yep, that easy. No story needed, nothing like that.
I
Just
see
like,
why you're sitting there trying to think of one, like, what do I say?
Yeah. And I became so friendly with the staff that, you know, at the desk, they called me. It was in June of 2013 or 2014. My sister was graduating high school that month. And I got a phone call, and I knew the number because it's doctor's office. And she's like, hey, JD, I just want to let you know that doctor got caught, and everything's going to be coming tomorrow to take everything. But I happen to have your script already signed on my desk. You can come in, no charge, because it's you. If you come in the next 2 hours, I'll just hand it to you and you can go.
And I bet you were there.
I was there in 20 minutes.
He said 20 minutes.
I couldn't fill the script for 3 weeks. I couldn't fill the script for 3 weeks because, you know, my other script had just gotten filled, but I didn't have to pay for my last appointment.
Exactly. You got that script.
Yeah, doctor shopping's crazy. So anyway, your dad, you know, I want to get a backstory a little bit to understand a little bit about you. So that's why I'm asking about your dad. I can't believe he's the youngest of 17, you know, and his parents had all like same parents, 17 kids.
Yeah.
Wild.
It's crazy. I couldn't imagine. I got 2 and I'm like, that was my cutoff.
I got 1 and I'm like, good. And he's my stepson. I only got one biological, and I'm good with the one stepkid.
Well, we have 3 total. I have a stepdaughter, and then there's 19, 18, and 16. So yeah,
that's a handful right there.
We're good.
Yeah, right. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Ours is 11. He's in 6th grade, and he's a good kid though. He likes Mario and shit. Like, it's weird to think, you know, my wife's an alcoholic. You know, they're sober 5.5 years. And we both quit drinking on the same day and back in 2020, and haven't had a drink since. And they started drinking young. I started drinking at 11. I started daily drinking at 12. And when Dominic turned 11, I was just like pondering. I'm like, holy shit. When I was his age, I had already started drinking.
Yeah.
And in a year, I was drinking every night. Like by myself in my room. I wasn't going to parties at 12 years old drinking. I was taking swigs of like vodka or whiskey out of a bottle to go to sleep every night. Cause like I had some SA happen to me when I was, you know, younger with other guys, you know, our age. I'm not going to say any names getting in my shit, but other things happened, like locker room stuff and like sleepover stuff. Yeah. And that affected me that I didn't talk about with anybody, but started my drinking every night to go to sleep, you know, to like kind of cope with it. And for me, it's like you don't rat on anybody, so you just live with it. And, you know, I pushed that shit all the way down, and I'm finally talking about it in the last 6 months, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I started having nightmares about it, and I'm like, I got to start talking about it. Like, I got to like address it. So, you know, I have it with my therapist and my wife and my best friend. They know a lot, but, you know, and I'll dabble like just now with you. Yeah. But I don't ever get into names or any of that kind of shit because I'm not like trying to get that far into it with anybody yet. You know, it happened and it's what it is, you know. But either way, you know, it's just weird to think like I'm doing good as a stepfather. Like he's not into drinking or drugging, and he's not around it. He doesn't see it happening around him. My wife and I are clean and sober. You know, like, so we don't ever like argue really. Like, if we need to have a serious conversation, we're like, hey, can you play in your room for a little bit? And we're not yelling at each other, we're talking to each other. I almost left. Like, I got a new apartment and signed a lease, and I was getting ready to leave. And, you know, I brought it up during couples therapy that I was going to go. And then, like, 5 days later, 3 days before I was going to move, I had an epiphany. And what had happened was I needed money for furniture. So I did a 401k loan from my work to, you know, hit my account in order to buy furniture for the new place, because I wasn't going to take anything from my wife. Yeah. You know, I'm the one leaving. I was going to take the bed, but that's only because they wanted to get a new bed anyway. Yeah. Besides that, couches, TVs, all that stuff I was leaving here. I'm not that, you know, I already felt bad enough. And it was a Monday. I was supposed to move Thursday, and my wife was still very upset and wanted to work things out. And I was just adamant, like, I got to go. Like, and my mom was giving me the money for the down payment for the new place. And my mom was even like, "Are you sure? Like, are you really, really sure?" And this is a woman that the first night I hung out with her, we said "I love you" at the same time. The first night we hung out.
Oh, dang.
4 days into knowing each other.
Yeah, it happens.
It happened that fast. And we were engaged within a month, of knowing each other. And so, like, it was very fast for us when we met and got married and all that kind of stuff. But that was fine. And so I was going to leave. And then the money hit my account for the 401k loan. And my first thought initially, without even my first initial thought was, "Oh, thank God, this is going to be great for both. This is going to be great for us." And I said, "Us." And I said, "Fuck, am I doing the wrong thing?"
And you knew you were.
And my wife was at a meeting for Recovery Dharma. That's what they do for recovery. Mm-hmm. Like I do NA, they do Recovery Dharma. And I knew I had 2.5 hours alone in the apartment and I wasn't working. I started my FMLA that day. Mm-hmm. And I had time alone with no one in the apartment for me to sit and think. And I didn't look at it. I didn't watch TV. I didn't look at my phone. I literally laid in bed, stared at the ceiling for 2.5 hours, just thinking. And I came up to the conclusion, like, if I move on my own, there's a good chance I'm going to regret it, relapse, and then die from drugs. Mm-hmm. I was like, I need to be with them. We're supposed to be together. Yeah, I'm unhappy right now, but we can work through it and figure out a way to make sure we're both happy.
Yeah.
And no one's cheating on each other. We don't yell at each other. Mm-hmm. When we're upset, we have conversations. We have a couple therapists that we see every 2 weeks. We work things out from there. And I was like, why am I going to leave? Why not try to get this right? I've moved 35 times in my life. Mm-hmm. I always run. And this is what I do is I run. And maybe I shouldn't run this time because that's what I've been doing my whole life. And I should stick and stay and work it out and be an adult. And my wife got home from the meeting and I sent Dominic to his room right away. I was like, "Gotta talk to your mom for a little bit." And we talked for an hour and a half and they let me stay. Mm-hmm. I was like, "I'll stay if you want me to stay. But things have got to be different and we got to talk about things differently."
Yeah.
And we're doing really well right now.
That's good.
Which is good. But yeah, I was ready to go, and now we're on a really good spot right now. And while I'm off work, we're doing weekly therapy instead of every bi-weekly. So, but yeah, more about you. Youngest is 17, your dad, and gets married to your mom when he's 17, your mom's 15. And then your mom has your brother at 16. And then gets pregnant 2 months later with you, mm-hmm. Has you, your mom and dad split up a year later. You're born, and then a year later, your mom and dad split up. Your mom had to have met a dude pretty quickly to get married, to get what? You go ahead, tell me. You got a story ready. You're like, wait, I got to tell you.
So, yes, my mom did cheat on my dad. They cheated on each other. My mom got pregnant with, my mom met my brother's dad at the casino. They weren't even in a relationship.
No shit.
Got pregnant with my younger brother. Yeah. Yeah. And that was.
You started it wrong, though, Connie. You got to start. The best way to start a story like that is what had happened was.
I know. What happened was. No, but yeah. My mom, she's a narcissist, so she'll never say that. She'll never say, she'll never say she cheated, because no, that would make her look bad. My dad is also a narcissist. So I was raised by 2 narcissists. So he's going to, they both got to make themselves look good, but in different ways. She's victimizes herself in every situation and he does these grandiose gestures, but he's an abuser. So like he will beat you, and then he'll turn around and say, "Hey, but I bought you this sparkly little gift," and you're just like, "Oh, so he does love me," when in reality he doesn't.
Yeah.
So they were
Now,
just not going to make it work because they were.
you were really young, so you never actually have a memory of seeing him hit her.
No, but I have a memory of him hitting other girlfriends.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, so my mom was a very violent person. If she wasn't hitting us, she was physically fighting with whoever she was with. And my father, he hit me one time, but he would hit my brother, and he would hit his significant others, and they would do it with us right there. Like, no, they would not care. And then they would wonder how we would sit there and handle issues. My brothers and I mean, we used to go in. Everyone's like, "Connie, you fought like a dude." Well, I grew up with 2 boys.
Was your dad Puerto Rican too?
Yeah.
Was your dad Puerto Rican too?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're 100% Puerto Rican then.
Yep, 100%.
Okay. Right.
So I got the attitude, and so
the attitude.
I got that, that spicy.
And you grew up there too. You got it all. You got all the Puerto Rican.
Yeah. I mean, it's toned down through the years now.
You seem a lot like more chill than you used to be, and we'll catch up to that age, in a minute. But like, yeah, you definitely, you never would have like come out and like to me be like, "Hey, I will do this." Like like you reached out to me to do this show. Yeah. And I feel like 20 years ago, you wouldn't have been that open to be like, "Hey, I'll talk about my feelings."
Yeah, nope.
Talk about my feelings and how much I hurt. Like you would never have done that shit 20 years ago.
No, the hell I wouldn't have.
I knew.
Nope.
Like you had this front you had of being a tough badass. Don't fuck with me. Like, you had "walk the fuck away" tattooed on your forehead. Like.
Well, by the time you got there, so I got to Audubon in 5th grade.
Let's catch up. All right, we'll get there.
Yeah.
So you come back when you're 5.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know more about your parents' dynamic, which is wild.
Yeah.
15 years old, 17 years old, one of 17. That's crazy.
Yep.
Now they split up. And she goes to Puerto Rico, comes back. 5 years later, you're in Camden. For how long were you in Camden for?
I can't even remember because I was so young.
Okay,
but the last memory I remember, the next place that I remember was being in like 1st, 2nd grade in Lindenwold.
Okay.
So probably, I wouldn't say maybe a year then, because by then my father had found us. And the first memory I remember of my father is we were in Camden, and I am terrified of gas tanks. He literally put our house in fire. Like, he found us and burned our house down. So we ended up in Lindenwold. Yeah.
What?
Yes. They were very... I will say, I could write a book, and I've considered writing one. But yeah.
It'll be therapeutic for you.
Yeah.
Burn the fucking house down?
Mm-hmm.
With you guys inside?
I remember coming out. So my mom got us out.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He found out my mom was seeing somebody else too. And they were toxic. They are toxic.
He found you guys finally after 5 years of looking, 4 years of looking for you. He found you. He's holding a grudge. Not only did you leave me, because this is back in the 80s, 90s, when you couldn't just find somebody as easy as social media.
Yeah.
Tracking cell phones and shit. So she pieces out with not only his 2 kids, but also on top of that, after cheating on him.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew about getting cheated on, obviously.
Yeah, he found out. He kidnapped her. Yeah, I found out he kidnapped her and moved her to Florida. My younger brother was actually born. She was only 7 months pregnant. He beat her so bad. And my grandparents, my grandparents still have this.
Let me skip this. So your younger brother, your mom was pregnant with your younger brother, 7 months pregnant. He beat her and then kidnapped her?
Yeah. And then they kidnapped me and my older brother and locked us in a basement. So when my mom's mom went looking for us, they were like, oh, we don't know where they're at. They're not here. And like, I'm like, I couldn't understand why all my life I was terrified of the dark. Well, they kept us locked in a dark basement. So it was, when I tell you, I could write a book. It was toxic. Like I could, and the thing is like some of these things I don't remember, but I didn't understand why. Why was I scared of the dark? Why can't I hate fire? Like why? I couldn't understand the why. And then as I got older, my family had to explain the why. And it all started making sense.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
It is.
All right, so, and then eventually after kidnapping your mom, he brought her back.
Yeah.
And then they got divorced.
No, they didn't get divorced. They got separated.
Oh, they said they didn't get officially divorced until 11 years ago.
And yeah, so I was 29. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But they separated a long time ago.
Yeah.
They separated.
I mean, he has other kids.
Mm-hmm.
My mom didn't have any more kids, but he has other kids. I don't know. You know, I only know of one. And he has 3 other kids besides me and my older brother.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So, holy shit. Brings her back, and then you guys peace out and move to Lindenwald.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is your younger brother's dad involved in your life at all?
He was not involved in our life growing up. Not until he was. I remember going to Disney. I was in elementary school, and I remember meeting this white man because he's Scottish, Irish, Indian, and Italian. So I remember
your younger brother's not 100% Puerto Rican then.
No, not my younger brother. So I remember meeting this man. I remember going to Disney. I remember going to Disney World. You know what I mean? I remember that, but I didn't know who this guy was.
Your younger brother then has the same last name as your birth father, right?
Yeah, well, he's changed it now, but because the law in New Jersey is if you're married, it takes on your husband's name, even though he's not the dad. Yeah, so that must have pissed your dad off and fucked your brother up a little. We don't gotta get into your brother's side of the story, but like that would have been like crazy for me to think about, like the dynamic of that. But again, it's also your mom's last name. So, you know, like when my wife and I got married legally, my wife's last name is still her previous marriage last name, you know, and because, you know, our son's last name. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like, you know, on Facebook, it'll say like a hyphenated my last name and their last name from their previous marriage. But like legally, it's their last name from when they got married for 10 years before. Yeah. In their 20s, they were married for 10 years and then they got divorced, met me a month and a half later. Yeah. Anyway, now you're in Lindenwald Elementary School. Mm-hmm. How long are you in Lindenwald for? Until 5th grade. We used to, it was terrible. We were the lightest things there. And I used to, when I tell you, I had to learn how to fight, and I had to learn how to fight quick because I was getting my ass beat. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to, you know, and I was scared because I was not raised. I was always in a toxic environment, whether it was my mom or my dad, and that was always terrifying. So when people would come, I really just shut down. I still shut down. I look at people like they're crazy, but I had to learn how to fight because my mom's response was, stop calling me at work. Don't call me unless there's blood. Yeah, and I'm sitting here like, you know, and that was even with my brothers. And I'm like, you just done fucked up. You know what I mean? So in 5th grade, the beginning of 5th grade, we moved to Hamilton for a short amount of time. And that was traumatic because of her cousin's wife. And then we moved to Audubon. And then I stayed in Audubon the rest of our life, like the rest of my high school time. And
by then you knew how to fight.
Oh, by then I could tear somebody's ass up.
I know you have. Yeah, you were fucking crazy.
By then I was like, listen, y'all just have a seat.
I was always friendly with you because I didn't want to go on your bad side and catch a beating.
It is so funny because everybody now that meets me, they're like, I'm so glad I'm your friend. Not because, and they laugh because they're like, you'll be like, oh, she's so nice. And they're like, piss her off.
I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. I implore you to piss Connie off. All right.
Yeah. So,
like, I know Connie. I've seen her in action.
Yeah.
It's funny because down. It's funny because like I only really known you for 3 years because when you went to Audubon, Did you go to Haviland or did you go to Mansion?
Mansion.
Okay, so you lived on that side of Audubon.
Yeah.
I grew up in the park actually. I was a park kid until first grade.
Oh dang.
So I went to Haviland for kindergarten. And then we moved to Mount Ephraim. And then I went to Mary Bray and Kershaw. And then Paul Six for 1 year. So my mom went there and she like begged me to try it. And like I'm one of those guys like, yeah, I'll try it, whatever. Like, you know, you want me to go, I'll try it. And so I did. It's not like I hated it. Like I liked wearing the same thing every day. It was easy.
Yeah.
Like if I turn around right now, I have 7 black t-shirts, solid black, same brand, same everything, 7 of the same ones.
Because you like wearing the same thing. It's easy.
It's easy. And I got 6 pairs of mesh shorts. My wardrobe's done. Seriously, my wardrobe. And I work from home. I don't got to be all dressed up and shit. I roll out of bed. My office where I'm sitting right now, my podcast is this little area. My Narcotics Anonymous is this area. And then right here is where I work. You know, like this is my chill room. And we have a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom apartment. So like my son has his own bathroom. I have my own bathroom. And my wife has the biggest bathroom, which is our bedroom. And because my wife has MS. They got diagnosed in 2021. And they're already chair bound. And so not a full-time chair. They can use crutches. And they can use a walker. So they use a walker around the apartment. And then they have like these forearm crutches. Not like under the shoulder, but like forearm ones.
I know which ones you mean. Zach.
Exactly. And they've like really helped them a lot for being more independent, like and being able to get to the car and stuff like that. Because now they also have a motorized chair. But that can be a pain in the ass because it's such a hassle to like load it on the ramp in the car. You know, so they don't like to use that unless they're going to like they're going to like a protest. Then they'll take a motorized chair. They do a lot of protests, and we're very outspoken politically. You know where we live, so I believe it. And I would probably have the same values, because you already know my values. If I'm saying my wife's non-binary, you have an idea of the kind of things we believe in. And, so this is not here for politics though. You go to Audubon now and it must be night and day from Camden, Lindenwold, and Hamilton and Puerto Rico. Now you're in Audubon where like you're the darkest person in Audubon.
I sure was. Well, when I got there in 5th grade, Mr. Borden, he did not leave us. Like he literally was even just the president of Camden County College. Like he followed our family. It was crazy. But anyways, I got there. He was the principal. It's my first day of school, and he looks at me. He tells my mom like she's gonna have a hard time here. And my mom's like, why? And he was like, he's like, not to be inappropriate, she's young, pretty, she's exotic, like she's not like the rest of the girls here. It's just letting you know. And my mom was like, she'll be fine, blah, blah, blah. And that was how my mom dealt with everything. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. But there was a group of girls. I'm not going to mention any names.
No names. I know them probably.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. And there was this one boy that I was just like, he thought I was pretty. He came and was talking to me, and I'm new. I don't know whose boyfriend is who. Yeah. And all of a sudden that put a target on my back because I was trying to steal their boy. I'm like, first of all, I was the 5th grader that I couldn't care less about a boyfriend. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't care less. That's when I really started hearing racial slurs. And I'm like, Mom, they just called me the N-word. And she's like, What? Yeah. And then, my stepdad was black. So they called me an N lover with the ER at the end.
Yeah, hard R. We call that a hard R. Yeah.
They would call me a spick. They would call me SA. And I'm sitting here like, and I told my mom, I hate it here. Like every day I would wake up and like, I hate it here. I understood why she wanted us to be there. It was a good education. I'm not going to lie. Like,
no, Audubon's great education. So wait, 5th grade. Yeah. How old are you in 5th? I'm trying to think. How old were we in 5th grade? We're born in 86. 5th grade, we're 11, right? So this was 1996. So in 1996, 1997, you're being called all those words by people in our grade that we graduated high school with.
Yeah, which have mixed kids now. I just laugh because I see them on Facebook and I'm like,
now you're giving me more information. Now I can like piece together. Like, oh, what's mixed kids?
I was like,
that is, yo, that is fucking wild, Connie. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
That like, you know, you had like, cause like, you know, Manny we had like Brandon. You know, Brandon's one of my boys. You know, he sat with homeroom with us, but that's his last name. You know exactly who I'm talking about.
I know exactly who you're talking about. I loved Brandon. I call him on
Brandon
Facebook,
got bullied. Brandon came over in 4th grade,
and
he got third or 4th grade, and he grew up a block down from me in my neighborhood. Like, and he was on my baseball team, and he got bullied a lot, and then eventually, like. Well, I'm not gonna say any names, but a few of us started being like friendly to him. Like, hey man, like, you know, what do you do for fun? Oh, you like video games? You like football? And you know, and start like befriending him and started like getting his back. Like, hey, don't, you know, because there was a lot of older kids that would fuck with him. Not really us in 4th grade.
Yeah.
It was like the 5th
older kids were assholes. I'm not gonna lie. The older kids that we went to school with, they were all just assholes. Period.
And these are the Kershaw kids. They're not the Audubon kids. We're in Kershaw at this point. And we start sticking up for Brandon, and you know, all the friends that I'm talking about that Brandon was friends with Romani from.
I remember.
And we always had his back, you know, and especially the ones like that grew up near us on our we grew up on the number streets in Money.
Yep.
You know, and Brandon was on the middle block, and right here, right behind me. Where did I grow up?
4th Ave.
4th Ave, and that sign is from there too.
Yeah.
My friend works for the town, and
they took the sign for you.
Yeah. Well, he worked for the town, and he put it on Snapchat a pile of signs. I said, "Yo, man," I said, "What's going on?" He's like, "Oh, we're replacing all the signs." I said, "Can you grab 4th Ave out for me?" And he said, "Yeah," because like I moved 35 times in my life, but for 12 years I lived on 4th Ave. That was the most stable place I've ever lived. And he's like, "Yeah, I got you." And like I've had that shit for 10 years. And I love that sign. It's the best thing I've ever gotten out of Snapchat was that finding that sign. So yeah, Brandon and I grew up on 4th Ave, and like we would do like prank phone calls together, you know, and we would do sleepovers at his house all the time.
Yeah.
And you know, that was like my introduction to like, you know, the kind of bullying racially that would happen. Was what was happening with Brandon, and that's when we all started like kind of like, you know, mid-90s sticking up for him, and be like, oh fuck this, like this isn't right, and you know my friends, which ones I'm talking about, like, and we stuck up for Brandon and always had his back and made sure that people didn't fuck with him anymore, because this isn't how we're gonna do things. This is not how we're gonna do things.
You guys were a lot different than the girl. Well, guys and girls are different anyways.
Yeah.
But like one thing that I noticed about you guys was you didn't notice any jealousy. Like you guys literally, and I guess that's why I relate more to guys even till this day. Like you guys are the type, like y'all had issues, like we screw up, get over it, move on. It wasn't like, oh, he got this, so now I'm jealous. And there was none of, and I was just like, God. And I guess because I grew up with boys, and the most interaction I had with girls is when I was cheering, and I hated cheering. My mom forced me to do it. I'm like, I hate this sport, I hate these girls, I hate this town, like get me out of here. Because I was just like, even to this day, I'm like, I'm not into that mean girl thing. I still hang out with mainly guys, because I'm like, the guys we're up with, like, we ain't do this all this going on, that didn't happen. Like they were all cool. There was no, oh, he got a nice car, so I got, oh, let's talk crap about him and let's try. Y'all didn't do any of that. And that's one thing I will say about y'all is when y'all came over, it was like a breath of fresh air. Because the guys that we grew up with, Mansion and Haviland and stuff, they were like that. They were always competing with each other. But when you guys came over, I was like, and they called you guys the ghetto kids. They're like, they came from the ghetto. I'm like, well, I like the ghetto kids. I don't hang out with the ghetto kids.
Yeah.
Like they got mentalities better.
Our little name for ourselves was the EBO, E from Boys Only.
Yeah.
And that was like our thing. And like we grew up right next to Gloucester, and you know, getting into fights with Belmar kids and Gloucester kids. and we had to learn to kind of get each other's backs and defend each other. And we stuck together. We were all really close, like friend wise. We, there was always some fights between a few different people that were like ongoing throughout the years.
Yeah.
Where like, this person and that person would fight all the time, or that person and this person, or that person and this person would get into scraps, but it was always randomly, it was never like, it just like, hey, we haven't fought in 6 months. We're going to go fight right now, like that kind of shit. But you guys growing up, you guys didn't fight. Audubon kids didn't, like Audubon guys, when they were growing up, they didn't get into fist fights.
No.
And we did. We knew how to fight and scrap and like protect ourselves physically and not like run our mouths. We knew how to run our mouths,
but we could back it up.
We could back it up.
And Audubon boys could not. They could not. They like to run their mouth.
Yeah, and then run and literally run.
Yeah, and I'm like, bro, that's why when a lot of them were like, "You want to be my girlfriend?" Hell no, you're like no, like I will tear you up. Like if somebody came at me, like you'd probably run. Like no, I'm good. That's why
I got like a nice scar right here permanently for the rest of my life from a fight from 8th grade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like from Gloucester, because we were right by the tracks and right by Gloucester, and like we got into fights all the fucking time, and we had to learn how to defend ourselves. And so rocks thrown at each other and shit like that. Like I mean. It is what it is. That's I guess we're the ghetto kids. I'll wear that badge.
Like the ghetto kids are here. I'm like, who the hell are the ghetto kids?
I don't give a shit. Fuck off. Like, that kind of doesn't piss me off now because it's been 20 years.
Yeah.
Like it gets under my skin a little bit. It's like, really, we're the fucking ghetto kids, dude.
I was like,
that gets under my skin a little bit, though. I'll be honest. Like,
but look at pictures of when we went to high school. Like, look how you guys were dressed, and look at how they were dressed. And I look at my kids now, because now I live in Georgia. I live about an hour away from Savannah, and I look at
Savannah's amazing. You're lucky as shit. Savannah's amazing.
So I look at my kids and the kids they go to school with, and I'm like, that kind of reminds me of our dynamic, because the kids that are like transplanted here, which is what you guys would have been kind of considered, because you guys were more cultured.
Yeah.
The ones that were there, all the ones that were like born and raised here, they all look the same. They all look the same. They all dress the same. They all run their mouth, and they think.
We even had the only black kid too. We only brought over. We're not going to say his name. We don't, because but you know who I'm talking about.
I know exactly.
Yeah.
We got in. My family got into a fight because of him. Me and my brothers. I don't.
Okay.
I don't know if you were there, but I remember my older brother. That kid was trying to date me when I was 16. Wait, you should have been there. I think you were there.
I had no. Was it?
Yeah, because I was 16.
Oh, yeah, I was there.
Hold on. No, he was 16. I was 12. You hadn't gotten there yet.
We're going to say his last name, Ryan.
Yeah.
We're talking about Ryan, right? We're talking about Ryan.
No, it's about Xavier.
Oh, okay.
Did you forget about that one?
Yeah. I was talking about
Ryan. He was trying to.
Xavier was older. No, Xavier was older.
He was.
That's why I wasn't thinking of him. We called him X.
Yeah, and he was trying to get with me, and my stepdad was like, "No, she's 12. I know exactly what you want with my kid." And
that's why I wasn't there, Connie. You were 12.
I know. I just remember. I'm like, but
if you were 12, what were you in 7th grade?
Yeah.
You were in the junior high.
Yep, and you were Kershaw.
X would have been like.
He was in high school.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was like 3 or 4 years older than me.
Yeah, he was trying, and the girls hated me. I'm like, I don't even want him. Like, ew, like. And my mom was like, give him a chance. And we go to church, and I'm sitting in church.
Mom, I'm not getting pregnant with like you.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there like, my mom convinced my stepdad to let me go to church with him. And I'm sitting in church like, y'all do realize that when we get out of here, he got a deal he got to do, because he's selling these drugs. Like, y'all do realize like there's stuff that went on that a lot of reason why I didn't talk to people was because of things that I was involved with, things that I was exposed to and stuff. And I was just like, first of all, I didn't like half of the people.
Yeah.
Half the girls. Most of them were the girls. But like, I stayed away from the boys because it's like, all you see was them swapping boyfriends and stuff. You don't know who's dating who and what. And I was like, I ain't fighting over no boy. That's for damn sure. Because hell no. So Yeah, no, but I do know Ryan.
Yep.
I know
That's
Ryan.
yeah. I was talking about Ryan because that was our grade,
Yeah.
and same thing as Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have to worry about protecting Ryan because Ryan could defend himself.
Yeah.
He would fight. You know what I mean? And he did fight, and he protected himself damn
Yeah.
well, good. But he never had to fight any of us in our grade, really. You
That's
know,
good.
and it's not because for a lack of none of us fucked with him, but none of us needed to. That wasn't like our
Exactly.
deal. Like we don't care about what color you are or anything like that. Like we're not here to talk shit.
Yeah.
And if you were, then you guys were gonna fight and
Mhm.
and move on. And the Audubon kids, they would talk shit privately, but never to their face. And Mount
Oh
Ephraim kids,
yes.
we're gonna tell you how we feel right to your fucking face.
And you did. And I
Yeah,
would laugh. I would sit back and I'd be like, damn, like that's, and then and I'm sitting there like, now you know me, I'm always the type like that ain't what you was just saying,
yeah,
like
you escalating that shit, Connie.
yeah,
You
yeah.
were
Because
like,
my thing is, even till today, I'm like, if you got something to say, I'm gonna tell you to your face.
yeah,
So
me
don't
too.
sit there now that they confront you, be like, like why are we stuttering here for? Because that
Yeah,
ain't what you had. Say it with your chest too, like
yeah.
say it,
Connie's in the
say
back
it.
like fight, fight, fight.
And I'm sitting here like, "Ooh, this gonna be good," because they all, and I'm
Get the
like, "That ain't what you
popcorn.
were just saying." Yeah, but I'm just like, yeah, they were just. It was a whole different breed. Like
Yeah, you're right.
it was just crazy. Like it was two different. It felt like two different worlds coming together, and I'm like, they did not prepare us for this. And then we were their biggest graduating class,
Yeah,
so
we
now they
were.
had a lot more different personalities and a lot more, and it was crazy because I'm like,
Well, we had
you
some
guys,
personalities. We had some personalities for
we
sure.
did,
You
we
know,
did, we did.
and did you go on a senior trip?
I did.
Oh man, that senior trip was wild for people
It was.
that are watching this and didn't graduate with us. There were so many of us that went that we
Mm.
had to take two planes
Yep.
and not one. I was on the second plane with Johnson
Mm.
and with Pat
Johnson. Yeah.
and with Mr. Siebold.
I was on.
And
I think I was on that plane too because he asked me, "Did you pay 50% for that outfit? Because you're only wearing 50% of it." And I was like, "I said, get the hell out of my face!" And I walked away.
Siebold was great because he knew we would smoke cigarettes when we walked the track, and we would
Yeah.
still smoke cigarettes walking the track. Like he just
Yeah.
wouldn't say. She's like, if I can't see it, I'm not going to say anything. I'm like, okay, okay.
Exactly.
When they were checking our bags in the gymnasium before we left, I had 6 cartons of cigarettes on me because for the people that were 17 that couldn't have cigarettes in their bags, they were too young. I was
Yeah.
carrying their smokes for them,
Yep.
and I brought 2 cartons just for myself. And I didn't know. I went to
Yeah.
Delaware and I got them for free
Oh
because
damn.
I got a list. I got a list from people,
Ah.
and then Johnson and I drove to Delaware, and we went to you could only buy 5 cartons at a time.
Yeah.
So we'd hit 5 different places, and the
Mm.
both of us would go in and buy a shitload of cartons, and then move on to another place, and then we spent the day, and then we came back, and we both got our 2 cartons for free, and gas and tolls were paid for, all
Yeah.
by doing this little thing. And Johnson and I were I miss him so much.
I loved him so much. Like he was freaking hilarious.
Yeah,
Like
that was my
he
best
had a
friend.
personality that was just,
Yeah,
and he didn't give a fuck. Like he
no,
didn't care. He
that
didn't
was
care.
my
He was going to
yeah,
tell you how he felt, and
yep,
you can either take it or leave it. And I love that about him. And when
yeah.
I finally got to talk with him and get to know him and stuff, I'm like you're cool as shit, dude. Like,
Yeah, grew up with 3 sisters and still
yeah,
could fight and defend himself.
yeah,
Single mom and 3
mm-hmm.
sisters, and he was going to defend
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah.
And he knew how to talk shit. And he was so funny, and you know what I mean. And he knew how to get under your skin
He
and
sure
talk
did.
to you.
He was like that little brother that was annoying, but he was hilarious as hell.
Yup.
Because
Well, he was a little brother. He had 2 older sisters and a younger sister. You probably know his little younger sister, because his younger sister is your younger brother's age, Liz.
I think that they actually my brother and her were actually friends.
They probably are. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Johnson, what's really crazy is, we did everything together, and he ended up getting kicked out of Audubon because he wasn't living in Audubon.
Yeah.
And he was going to school legally, and he ended up getting senior privilege. Stupid. He got senior privilege to go. He was using an address in Audubon, and they let him come back and go to Audubon for senior year, and he didn't have his license. And I drove from 4th Ave to Westville every morning, picked him up every morning.
Yeah.
And we would drive back and go to school, just chain smoking the whole time.
Yeah.
And just bullshitting. And every day I would take him home from school or take him right to work, or every night and then pick him up from work, and then we'd hang out. Like,
yeah. I didn't know he wasn't, I knew he had left for a little bit, but I didn't know that he didn't live in, I didn't know why. Like, I just, you know, as you know, I didn't give a crap about nobody. I was just like, it wasn't my business.
Well, when he died, you know, in that car accident, and that was June 12th, 2012, June 12th, 2012. And I told you my dad died, right? I already said that. My dad died 2 years ago. I woke up June 12th, 2012, mourning the death of John. It was 11 years since John passed away, mourning the death of my best friend. And then 4 hours later, my dad died.
Yeah, that's rough. I remember I was visiting Jersey, and I forget who I ran into. I went by Antonino's, good old Antonino's.
Antone's.
Yeah, went to Antone's to go get some pizza, and I forget who had told me that he had passed, and I was like, wait, what? Like, I was just like thrown off. I was like, wait, are we talking about the same person?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, and I was like, shit, dude, like, that's
one of the hardest deaths that hit me ever in my life. You know, I've learned a lot of people, especially in being in addiction, a lot of people pass away, you know what I mean? But the 3 hardest deaths of my life were John, and then, you know, Colleen being engaged to her, and then my dad, you know, obviously.
Yeah.
But, you know, they all like really impacted me. Like, I got a tattoo for John right here, the Carpe Diem. Where is it on my arm? Right there. Either way, I took him to get his first tattoo, and he got Carpe Diem tattooed. You know, I mean, seize the day.
Yeah. And that sounds like John.
So John got that tattooed across his stomach, though.
Oh my gosh.
Across his stomach, and we laughed. Me and Pat laughed the entire time because it hurt him so much. And Pat had already a tattoo on his shoulder, and it was, you know, nothing in comparison to your stomach. And we just watching John be in agonizing pain for an hour. And so when John died, I was bad in addiction. But when I got clean, I was in California living in Los Angeles, and I was really good friends with a graffiti artist. And I still am. She owns properties all over the world, and she's a graffiti artist. Like, that's how famous she is.
Yeah.
And she's also an amateur tattooist, and she does tattoos in her front yard in Venice. And she would give you to him for free if you were early in recovery. And so on John's anniversary, on his 6-year anniversary of him passing, I was over her house, and I was like, and she was like my first sponsor in AA. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck to do. Like, how do I handle this? And my first time mourning his death, you know, since being sober without using drugs to numb. And she was like, well, did he have any siblings? And I said, yeah. She was like, you know, they're probably hurting to call one of them. And so I called Liz, and we talked for like an hour, and, you know, she was happy to hear from me. And then she was like, what else do you want? And I was like, honestly, a tattoo. And she had already given me a bunch.
Yeah.
By now, that tattoo artist has given me 23 tattoos.
Oh, wow.
Including my wedding ring. And she, so she gave me Carpe Diem, you know, on my arm, and I got it on his 6-year anniversary of his death. And that's one of my favorite tattoos because it's for John. But yeah, that's John. You know, he was amazing, and he was an amazing person. He would always have your back. And I have some of the best stories of my life that begin with John and I, you know, and he's just one of a kind of guy. And there's going to be nobody like him I'll ever meet ever again.
Yeah, no. He He was one of a kind. I don't know if you remember Jamie Collins.
No.
Well, she had went to school there briefly, and she got there when we were in 8th grade. So you hadn't gotten there yet. And she left in sophomore, like middle sophomore year. And me and her were like this. Like her mom, when she first moved there, everybody was making fun of her because she was tall and skinny, and they called her Jamie Floods. And I was like, nah, chill, chill out. Like, so that's how we became friends. And the first time that I really seen drug addiction was with her. Her mom had her stepdad was very abusive towards her and her mom. I remember going over there in 8th grade, sleeping over, and he came in and just started like, he was drunk and going in on her and telling her what piece of crap she was. When she was 16, that's when we were, sophomores. She met this 20-something-year-old guy in Camden, ended up getting hard into heroin, had to prostitute herself to, and I remember it was, I was about to move to, in 2014, August 2014, I was about to move to Florida. And I used to have the news on my phone. And she struggled back and forth. She would be in the methadone clinic, like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And she would always go back to him, always go back to him, always go back to him. Well, I remember she said she's leaving him and stuff. And I was like, girl, you always say that, She was trying to get clean. She had her 2 boys. And I remember visiting her in Salem, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And I visited her. She had called me like a week later. And she said, I need you to come and get me. And I said to her, I'm not doing this with you anymore. I just can't. I said, I have 2 kids. I just can't do it. I can't keep doing this because you're going to keep going back. The very next day I look on my phone, ABC News, somebody had died. I was like, I look, I'm like, that's Jamie's house. So I start reading the article. I called in the detective, the investigator, and I knew something in my heart told me that I just knew. And so she was trying to get clean. Well, her husband had murdered her. She used to do drugs with Carly. I don't know if you remember Carly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Carly's like, oh, me and her are besties. No, you guys did drugs together. You're not besties. Your best friend would not, So her husband, she was getting clean. He found that he was a pagan. And he found out that she was leaving. They called him. He had somebody watching her. And he got to the house. She went to run. It was like a 3-story house. He pulls her by her hair. She had like long, how I've always had long hair. She always had long hair. He pulls her. He snatches her back. He was high. He snatches her back so fast and hard that he snapped her neck. And she was paralyzed. And he threw her off the roof. And that right there, after me, because I was a bad alcoholic. I was like bad alcoholic. And I had started to get clean. I stopped drinking. And after that happened, it was spiral. I hit the bottle again, And I still moved to Florida, but I still hit the bottle.
Yeah.
Bad,
we're going to catch up to that too. We're going to get there too. Because I'm going to ask you some other things now. We're scratching the surface of Audubon. Now we're a breath of fresh air when we come over freshman year.
Yeah.
That's probably why I don't know Jamie. I know the name, but I could never put a face to the name. Yeah. Because, if she left halfway through the year I was there, the C's weren't in the D's.
Nope.
In homeroom. So, and because our homeroom started in the D's.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have known her from homeroom. And so, yeah, that's fucking wild. I'm still like flabbergasted. So anyway, were you drinking at all in high school? You said you smoked weed in high school?
Yeah. So
when did you start smoking cigarettes?
I started smoking cigarettes. I'm not going to tell you with who.
No, only with who, but I mean when?
So I want to say about sophomore year, I started drinking and smoking, and I started getting high all the time. Like I would wake up, I'd get high, I'd go to school, I would cut class, go get high, go get drunk, come back to class because they had study hall back then. They don't do that anymore. Go back, finish. And that's why when the teachers would be like, "Don't do drugs, you're messing up your brain," I'm like, I don't know, my grades say different. According
Yeah,
to
you got decent grades.
math,
You got decent grades, didn't you?
I was an honor roll student. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, you got good
Yep.
grades. Yeah.
Yep. So I was like, use a damn lie. Come here
Yeah.
drunk and high. Like, you're lying. So I was yeah, I
Well, you were
started
drinking
doing
pretty often then, just because me and you never drank together.
no.
And I was drinking daily, but I was more of like in my room hiding and drinking,
Yeah.
and smoking weed in my bedroom, smoking cigarettes in my bedroom. And my parents didn't smoke or do anything, but like my bedroom was an attic that was converted into a bedroom.
Yeah.
And my parents, I can count on one hand how many times both of them combined came out to my bedroom because
Yeah.
I really fucked upstairs, and both of them hated my steps and going into the attic. And there was a walk-in closet because the way the room was set up in the attic, so they had to make a walk-in closet. And in that walk-in closet was a window, and so I would open the window all the way up and towel, the entire door in the closet, and just sit there. And I had my own phone line in that room, so I'd have my phone in there. I'd have like an empty bottle of soda that with water in it to throw the cigarette butts.
Yep.
We're Black and Milds into if I was smoking a Black and Mild in there. Or smoking, a bowl in there, you know what I mean? Or like taking swigs of my whiskey in there or vodka. Like, I give no fucks. And I would just get high and drunk and then pass out, wake up and go to school and then, whatever. So, you're drinking almost daily in high school then and smoking cigarettes and weed almost daily.
Almost daily. If it was I missed a day. Huh?
Did your mom smoke cigarettes?
My mom's not a smoker. My aunt, so I was
Did you live with your aunt?
weekend. No, she lived with us for a small amount of time and then she moved. But when she lived with us, she was an alcoholic. So my cousin and I would steal her alcohol. And then when she moved, I was like, oh, hell no, this is she's my supplier, So she was always so drunk that I would literally leave school. No, I left school Friday, hopped on the train from Lindenwold. I would catch the 403 to Lindenwold train to Packers. Go there, get on the train to Atlantic City, walk from the train to her house because it was only like a few blocks. And I would sit there. She'd be passed out. My cousin and I would steal her cigarettes and her alcohol, and she would think it was her. So she sent us, back then, we could go buy it for them. So back then, we would go to the store and we'd be like, hey, we need this, and this. And she had two roommates that thought we were cute, which at the time we thought it was cool, but they were like in their 30s. So that's kind of weird now when you think about it.
Dudes?
Huh? Yeah. They would give us money. Yeah.
So my God, that is fucking gross.
And we would go. I mean, we never did anything with them, but
no, yeah.
We would like we knew they liked us, so we'd be like, hey, can we? And they'd give us money, and we'd go to the boardwalk, and we'd be sitting on the beach. I remember waking up drunk, and then I'd leave on Sunday, but I would take the alcohol with me because I needed that for the week.
Yeah.
I'd take the cigarettes. Smoke them Newport Longs. I need
Newport 100.
So I need them for the week, and then
I'm not gonna racially profile you, but I would have guessed that if you would have gave me.
Yeah. And then my older brother was into the drug game, so I just got my weed from him. So it was just, and my mom had no clue. She was clueless because she was never home. She was always out. So
my mom had no idea that I drank that much until John's eulogy. Until like she heard like. I wrote this long thing about John and I on Facebook after he died. And that's when my mom learned about a lot of my drinking. Was because of like what I admitted, and I was like, sorry, Mom, it is what it is. That was, years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm sober for so long, my mom and I have my shows and my mom can't even watch my shows, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, she won't watch either of my shows. She'll watch my brother and I, but she can't watch this. It's too much for her to take in, because my mom is such like a good, I don't want to say goody good, but like she's not an alcoholic. She's never even smoked a cigarette or weed a day. No, she smoked weed. I've gotten her high in Amsterdam, and you know what I mean. Like I've smoked weed with my mom a few times, but and helped her buy stuff from dispensaries. And she'll like take an edible here and there. Like she likes popping some edibles here and there.
I mean, works.
But yeah, she's not like a big smoker though.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like my mom's really funny about that. But yeah, so she's like all this proper, and I'm like a wild child. And I'm like my dad. Like my dad taught me how to fight at a young age.
Yeah.
And like my brother and I are 3 years apart, and we started fighting a lot. We were like 9 and 6, 10 and 7, 11 and 8. And my brother's as big as I am, height wise. Right to this, my brother's taller than I am, and we've been the same height, or if not, he was bigger since he was like 7. So I was never beating up my little brother. He's my younger brother, not my little brother. You know what I mean? And so for Christmas one year, I think 10 and 7, my dad got us boxing gloves and helmets, and set up a heavy bag in the garage and said, like, you guys are gonna learn how to fight. And every time you start fighting in the house, you're grabbing the gloves, you're going out back. I'm gonna be on the deck and reffing it, and you're beating the shit out of each other until you can't throw any more punches.
Well, damn.
Yep.
Crazy.
My brother never fought anybody like outside of that. My brother was way too nice. That wasn't my brother's style.
Yeah.
But I got a lot out of it though.
I used to fight a lot. I used to fight a lot because my cousin, they like to run their mouth, but they couldn't back it up. Yeah. And I would show up and they'd be like, my cousin Connie's gonna whoop your ass. And they're like, are you their cousin Connie? I'm like, who the are you? Like, I don't even know my name. And I was fighting. When I tell you, because like I said, my mom said, don't call me unless there's blood. So guess what? We made sure there was blood. And I mean, my older brother was bad. Like, he used to throw knives. He used to stab. Like, I have a scar here for when, like, he threw a knife. And it just so happened to just land straight up. And I was just like, I mean, he used to chase us with knives. It was bad. It was bad. And I was like, why would you tell us, don't call you unless there's blood? Now he's getting weapons, So, I mean, at this point in my life, I'm like, I'm too old to be doing that crap. But if I got to, I'll do it. I'll get down and dirty. But yeah, it was, we're
going to progress a little faster. And we got through school. You were drinking a lot in school. I didn't know that about you. But like I said, we weren't really like, we were friendly, but we weren't like friends, we didn't have the same friend group, obviously, you know what I mean? But we never like had any beefs or anything like that all throughout school. You never really bullied me or anything, and I never bullied you, and I don't call people names like people, that's not I'm not racist a little bit of my body. So I would never call you any of those names because, like, I don't even say those names out loud.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not my style. And I think it's because I became friends with Brandon so young that, like, thinking about you and to be racist didn't even cross my mind because, like, I was like, I love Puerto Rican people. Like, they're funny as shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, Brandon is kind of funny.
Yeah. So, and I'm still friends with Brandon to this day. You know what I mean? Like, we don't chill or anything, but we're friendly.
Yeah.
I think he's in Florida now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, from what I see on Instagram, he seems like he's in Florida, living his best life.
Yep.
Still liking them Giants. I'm like,
I know. Fuck out of here.
Like, you grew up in South Jersey, you're supposed to like the Eagles. Like, what
Eagles,
are you doing?
His dad passed away a few years ago. And then when my dad did, he reached out to me, and so a lot of us, so either way, you and I always never had problems, even though we knew each other and, just never fucked around. Like, so I didn't know that anything about you. I knew you smoked cigarettes, because I was a cigarette smoker. And I'm pretty sure, did we ever spend any in-school time together? Were you in school a lot? I lived in school. I was
in there a lot for my mouth because the teacher
I was in there a lot for cutting school. I always cut to go get high and go smoke.
I would cut, and I was in there so I would cut because I hated being there. And then when I was there, I would cuss out, like, especially Amy Dorsey. I hated that teacher. She just irked my nerves, and I'm just sitting there like, girl, shut the hell up. Like, seriously. And
before we moved on from high school, my favorite story about what the fuck's his name? I'm blanking on his name right now. Help me out. In school.
You know how many of us there was in there at a time?
No. What's his name that ran it?
That ran it? I can't remember his name. I can't remember half the teachers' names.
He wasn't a teacher. He was an ex-cop. He was an ex-Camden cop.
I forget his name.
Either way, big dude, big dude.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They had to have him there for us.
Yeah, exactly. So I got my driver's license, and at this point, I was always in school, and he knew me really well. And he said, "Listen, I'm gonna give you a piece of advice. You ever get lost in Camden?" And I said, "I'll stop you right there. I have no intention of going to Camden." And he was like, "No, but you might make a wrong turn going to the mall and end up in Camden." And he was exactly right. That's what happened, eventually. And so he's like, "You ever get caught up in Camden and lost? Run red lights." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah, don't stop.
Martelli, something like that.
Yeah.
Martini. Either way, he was like, "Run red lights until you get pulled over, and when you go safely, run the red lights." And he goes, "When you get pulled over, tell them that blah blah blah," because I'm blanking on his name. Told you that this is how you get out of Camden because you're lost. 2 months maybe later, I'm heading somewhere in Cherry Hill, end up on 130, get all fucked up, crossed up, end up on Broadway.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, like GPSs did not exist. You know what I mean?
We had MapQuest. You had to print out if you had a printer.
Yeah, you write all this shit down.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I'm lost. I'm by myself, middle of the day, and I'm right by like the police station and the hospital. You know what I mean? Not the police station.
You're by the transportation.
The jail, the court.
Yeah, you're right up the street from the transportation center.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at. Okay, so now I got a picture. CVS is on this corner. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep. So exactly what you're talking about.
I pull up there. There's a cop sitting right, where the court is, facing this way, and I'm facing him. I'm looking over here at him. We make eye contact. Blew through the light. Blew right through it.
He came around.
Pulled out. He got behind me. I get to the next light. I pull up. I check it. Blew through that. He blows through it. He doesn't pull me over yet. Third one. Boom. Do the same shit. Finally, he lights me up. And he comes up and he goes, "What the hell are you doing?" License right away. Away. He didn't even ask for my license registration. First thing he says to me out the window is, "What the hell are you doing?" He's like, "You made eye contact? You know that I'm a police officer." And I got behind you and you ran 3 red lights in a row. Why? And I was like, "Listen, I was going to the mall and Tony Martino.
Oh, yes.
I knew his name.
Because I remember, yes.
Tony Martino is a teacher in my school. And he told me if I got lost in Camden to run red lights safely until I got pulled over, and you guys would help me get out of here safely." He goes, "Tony, all right, yeah, follow me. I'll get you money from Avenue and get you out of here."
Yeah, that was his name, because I remember when I was in school suspension because I kept skipping gym because I was the last, and I had a single number 8 in gym because I didn't get dressed, I didn't show up, nothing, and they gave me like a bunch of packets to do because you had to do like, oh, here, read these sports articles and write a thing about whatever. So they knew I wasn't gonna do it at home, so they sent my behind to ISS. And he goes, "How the hell do you get a single letter?" I said, "Don't judge me. Don't judge me." He said, "They need to take your license because you just, as soon as you got your license, you just be gone." I'm like, "Listen, I hate it here." I hate it here.
Tony Martino. He drove that little purple car. Remember, he was the biggest dude, buffest dude in the world.
And drive the smallest car.
Small little purple car. Like, I used to deliver pizza to his house all the time. He lived in Mount Ephraim, right by Harding Ave, right by Harding Park, and I would deliver him pizza when I worked at Carollo's. $10 tip every single time.
You all worked at Carollo's. Yeah, all of y'all did. I used to go to eat.
It would be two cheesesteaks. Him and his wife. $10 tip on a $20, order. He was the man. I'm not sure if he's alive or not or anything like that, but
I don't know.
It's been 20 years, but he, the man.
Yeah.
And okay, so we got out of high school. Did you go to college?
Went to the Army.
You went to the Army? No shit.
Yeah. Went to the
Army.
I
said, I haven't talked to you since now we're at a point where I don't know shit about you. So, we've been friends on Instagram and shit for years.
Yeah.
But don't interact until when you hit me up to be on the show.
Yeah.
So so you went to the Army.
Yeah, I had both my kids in the Army. went from trauma at home to now. So.
Okay, why did you? Because like that
I
wasn't your family dynamic. Your dad wasn't in the military.
No.
Your mom. So like, what made you go to the army?
So, if I'm being honest, we all went to the military to get away from my mom. My mom was very physically abusive. My mom was very verbally abusive, and I had the grades, and I was going to go to John Jay College of Criminal Justice. Like I had my path figured out. But like I said, I was always drinking and smoking, and I'm like, I'm gonna end up just failing out of college because I really don't give a shit. Like that was my attitude. Like I don't care. I got to do something for me, but I need to get away from her. You know, it's like she's the problem. So I joined the army, and
so you and both your brothers were all three in the army.
Yeah, well, my youngest was in the Marine Corps.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, so I was the first one to go in. Because my older brother had a kid and he moved back to Puerto Rico. So I was the first one to go in. And then when I went in, I mean, I loved it. Don't get me wrong. And I loved being away from her. Like that was the best. That was like the icing on the cake for me. I didn't have to talk to her if I didn't want to. Like I started learning that like, but she still had this hold on me where it was just like, I'm sending, and I remember I was talking to one of my best friends that I met in the army in boot camp. She's like, girl, I remember like we would all go to the PX and you had no money because you had to send everything back home to your mom. And I'm like, yeah, like, and my mom has a good paying job. Like she works at Camden County College. She's been there for 33 years. So it's like, I didn't have to, but she, in her mind, had us thinking that we owed her that. Like we owe her a payback for raising us. So
Jesus Christ.
And my alcoholism just went even worse.
Yeah.
I suffered, SA while I was in the army. The first time it happened, I was in high school. Huh?
Wait. Whoa. You're now you're talking really fast on me.
Yeah.
SA in high school?
In high school and then in the military again.
Okay, so we're not going to get too deep into it. Was SA somebody from high school?
Not from our high school. It was one of my older brother's friends, and he initiated it. And so that was, so I was glad to just break away from all of that. And then when I ended up in the army, I was like, I thought I was going in the right track. Like, 'cause, you can't do drugs, you can't do this. But I was still smoking. I would still go away, go out on the weekends and drink and stuff. And it happened in the military.
Okay.
And
then military guy?
Yeah. So it went, my mental health just went down because I'm like, I'm just trying to get away from this.
Did anybody know that either one of them happened from high school or army?
Well, my mom found out about high school after I had my daughter. So I got pregnant with my daughter at 19. I was in the army. And my mom found out because when I was on medical leave, the maternity leave, I would not leave my daughter. I didn't know what I was having till the last minute. And I did not leave my daughter out of my sight for nothing, for absolutely nothing. And my mom's cousin came and she was like saying, she's like, I'm gay because my brother's raped me. And I'm sitting there like, girl, you're gay because you want to be gay. Don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, don't make an excuse. And, Hispanics, that's not good. That's not a me. I couldn't care less. My kids love is love. You love who you want to love,
Exactly.
As long as they treat my kids good, that's how I feel. But
100%.
She said that. My mom's like, oh my gosh. I had told my mom recently that I had the SA happened and my brother was, my one brother was his friend and he was the one initiating it and he was the one, you know what I mean? Like,
was it a one-time thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my mom was like, oh my God, you need to go to therapy. Like that's exactly how she said it. You need to go to therapy. And I'm sitting there like, here comes her cousin. She's like, oh my God, if you need anything, hugging her. Just
Mother of the year.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there like, I was pissed. I grabbed my kid and I was leaving. And she's like, well, I was like, you're fake. I was like, I can't wait to go back. And they wouldn't let me go back because I was still on maternity leave. I was like, I can't wait to go back. I hate you. Like I told her that. Like I was just like, I just can't deal with you, Then I went back and I shortly thereafter I had my son.
So your daughter is that was when you had Kalani?
Yeah, 19. I had her at 20.
Okay, and I'll say her name going because she was on my show last week.
Mm-hmm.
And you were on there too with her at one point, and that was a really nice to talk to you then. And so you had her at 20.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the only reason I'm going to say her name. You don't got to say your other kids' names.
Yeah.
And you had her at 20. Now, who was the dad?
A friend of mine that we were just hooking up.
Okay. All
We were
right.
just
No,
hooking up.
it
Yeah.
wasn't from the SA, though. It wasn't from the SA.
No.
But
Thank
the SA
God.
happened before that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you stopped drinking while you were
Yeah.
pregnant. Okay. And you stopped
Yeah.
smoking cigarettes?
I did. Actually, I found out I was pregnant. I was already 3 months pregnant, and I had been drinking and smoking the whole time. So
Yeah,
when I
3
found
months.
out, I stopped cold turkey.
Yeah.
And I was terrified because I was like heavily drinking, like fetal alcohol syndrome, I had her, then I was good. I was on the up and up. Like, I was just like, I had my kid. I had someone to live for. Like, I have to live for her because I was going to put her up for adoption. And when they handed her to me, I was like, I can't do it. I was like, I can't. Like, this is my baby. Like, I can't. This is mine, like nothing in my life was mine, but she was mine,
Was the dad in the army too?
Yeah.
He was? And did he want to be in the picture at all or no?
He did, but my mom made it very difficult. My mom was very possessive of her and she tried to make it difficult, and I'm like, I'm the mom. So he ended up getting into drugs because he got kicked out of the army. So he stayed out of her life for a while, which it sounds so weird to say. I appreciate, because my daughter didn't have to watch someone in active addiction. So I'm grateful that he was cognitive enough to say, hey, I don't want her around this. I don't want her to see me like this. And as much as it pissed me off, because I was like, you're fucking selfish. It was before I really knew what addiction was, because I was an alcoholic and I didn't think there was anything wrong with that. You know what I mean?
And you knew about like weed and cigarettes, which is like nothing. So like you don't know the hard stuff, like, and how that like takes a hold of your life. Where like, and from me and my perspective, because I was an alcoholic at 12 years old, and I was a daily user of opiates at 22. And once I learned that I was an addict 3 months into my addiction to opiates, I had a conversation with myself where I was like, I want this and only this every single fucking day.
Yeah.
And I will do anything to get it. But I'm not going to do heroin. That was my rule. No heroin. Because on heroin, I lose control. And I can control myself on pills. So for 10 years, I did pills. And I didn't touch heroin. And finally, I was like, I need to go to rehab. And I went to rehab, and I haven't touched pills since. Except for like the ones that Ryan so wanted to give me.
Yeah.
We talked about at the top of the hour. But yeah, man, addiction is crazy. Our priorities completely shift and just don't give a fuck. Nope. And it's just, we get the fuckets, and once your mind goes to like, I'm going to get high instead of everything else, it's a wrap. Like nothing else matters. So that's cool that he backed away. He stepped away, and and you were raising her by yourself. And when did you get pregnant with your son? How long after?
They are 28 months apart.
You were your mom's daughter.
Well, so I ended up.
What happened was, go ahead, say.
Well, what happened was I actually, his dad and I got married, and so I got pregnant on my wedding day.
Was his dad in the military also?
Yeah, he was a Marine.
Look at you.
I know. We met at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. That's where we met. Yeah, so I ended up getting pregnant we got married on our wedding day. I got pregnant. It's funny because it's like you see the marriage certificate and then the date of pregnancy. I'm like, So I got pregnant. I thought he actually deployed right away. They pushed their deployment up. So I went through my whole pregnancy, but he wasn't supposed to deploy for like months.
This is Iraq. This is during Iraq war then.
Yeah.
And he was a Marine.
He was a Marine.
So he was being shipped to Iraq or Middle East.
He was going to, and when I was taking Kaylani to an appointment.
Were you still in the military at that point, or were you out at that point?
No, I was still
active.
So I was at an appointment with her, and I thought I had the flu. And I'm like, I just feel like death is upon me. And I'm like throwing up everywhere. And I didn't have that with Kaylani. So it was different. And they were like, "Are you sure you're not pregnant?" And I'm like, "I'm positive I'm not pregnant." They're like, "Let's just do one urine test just in case." Boom, pregnant. I was like, so then I go to the base and I'm like, I need a blood test. I just had a positive urine test. Like, I need to make sure. So they're like, it's going to take 72 hours. 10 minutes later, I get a call. Congratulations, you're pregnant. I'm like,
10 minutes later.
So he's on his way to the Middle East.
No,
So
when he's in the air, when you find out.
Yes.
Oh my God. You guys always gotta wait like a day to tell him then. 18 hours.
Well, I emailed him.
You told him over email?
I did, because I was like, oh my gosh, you can't get a hold of him. I don't know when I'm going to talk to him. So when he gets to Kuwait, he checks his emails. He calls me and he's like, I got your email. He's like, are you shitting me? And I'm like, no.
How long was this deployment for?
Huh?
How long was this deployment supposed to be?
It was 9 months. So he
was that his first time being deployed?
No.
How much older is he?
We're the same age.
Okay.
So, yeah. Right. So he literally got back right before I had him.
No shit.
Yeah, but when I was pregnant, I found out he cheated on me over there. So I was like, no, I'm done. He's like, we've only been married for 5 minutes. I was like, exactly. I'm done. So we tried.
Oh my God.
Yes. We tried to make it work, but he was a roid head and he became very physically abusive. I mean, like, he would I remember, I will never forget this day ever. It was after I had my son and he was like, getting over infidelity is hard. It's very hard. So he came home for lunch one day and he never came home for lunch and he didn't expect me to be home for lunch. And I was like, yeah, our kid is here. Like, I'm breastfeeding. So yeah, I come home for lunch. Well, he came and he had some little girl in the car with him. And so we start arguing. And as he gets ready to leave, he grabs my face and that was the first time he ever put his hands on me. He grabs my face, like the back of my head, and throws my face into the wall and literally breaks the wall with this part like flat on my face. So like my nose, we thought my nose was broken. So all of this, like, I looked like a raccoon when I went back to work. And that was the first time he had put his hands on me. Like the very first time he had ever. After that, it just got worse. Like they were like, he would break door frames with my face. And as a strong person, I have a strong personality. People were like, how could that? Well, I mean, you don't realize it's happening. And then I started drinking.
Can I ask what he was ethnicity wise?
He was Puerto Rican.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and Kaylani's that too?
No, he's Black and Italian.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Just curious.
Yeah. So it just got worse and worse and worse and worse. And my alcoholism got worse and worse. It was to the point like I didn't eat. Like, I survived off of beer, going to the gym. And at that point, that's when Oxy Elite Pro came out to work out and lose weight. So I was taking Oxy Elite Pro, drinking beer, which we know is like not a good combination.
Yeah.
And living off of coffee, Pepsi, and beer. Literally, barely ate anything. My calorie intake was probably like 1,000 calories a day.
Was your son your son was just bottle feeding? At that point,
I was just bottle feeding him because when I started drinking, in the beginning, I breastfed. Yeah, so I just started bottle feeding him, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And when I tried to leave him, I was at my mom's. So my son was born, and then my cousin's baby passed away, and I was over there with him and my kids, and I was trying to leave him. He dumped all of our stuff in the yard at my mom's house, and my grandma told him, "You need to leave." And my grandma's like 4'11". Okay, she's like your typical short Puerto Rican grandma. Yeah. And he's 6 foot tall, so he leaves with my younger brother. They come back. They go back to we were all in North Carolina at this point, so they go back.
I live in North Carolina.
Really?
Were you in Fayetteville?
I was in Jacksonville because he was in. Yes, but I was stationed in Fayetteville.
Okay, so, I was in Durham.
Oh yeah, so you were.
I was Durham. Raleigh. I was in the Triangle, Durham, Raleigh,
Durham.
And Chapel Hill.
Yeah. No, I know that. I used to go there.
Hard. Yep. I used to party in Durham. Hard.
Me too. Yeah,
hard.
Me too.
It was right after Colleen died. And all I knew was to do coke and drink. That's all I knew.
I was a club head. I was a big club head. I was like, they knew me in the clubs. That's how often I was in the clubs. Like, I was, So when I went to leave, they came back. my mom, after a week, was like, no, you need to go back to your husband. You married him. You guys need to make it work. And told me I had to leave her house. Like, she kicked me out of her house with a baby.
You're the one that left your husband after cheating on him and ran to Puerto Rico. What are you talking about, huh?
Exactly. So I was like, and my grandma begged me not to go back. She begged me not to go back. So I go back. I
don't blame you for going no contact with your mom, by the way. Holy shit.
Yeah. So I went back because I was going to be in the street. So I had no choice. So I went back, and when my son, he's on the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
So he was nonverbal, and he cried constantly. And when you're going through alcoholism and you're going through abuse and you're going through all of that, and you have this crying baby, and I was just like, I just can't take it anymore. So we dropped the kids off to my mom because my mental health was just deteriorated at that point. On our way back from dropping the kids off, we're on I-95. Okay.
Your mom was in Audubon still?
No, she's in Vineland now.
Okay.
So me and him are on the far left lane. And I told him, I don't want to be with you. I'm done with you. I tried. After you cheated on me, I tried. You're beating the shit out of me. Like, you're going to kill me. I need to live for my kids. I left my kids with my mom because I'm leaving you. I'm packing my shit and I'm leaving. He takes the wheel. He spins it. We spin all the way across. And then we stop. And this car, he gets off of the exit, and there's a gas station. And this car followed us. And the car goes, and they're like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm sitting there just crying, like in shock. Like, I'm like, he just tried to kill me, like in shock. And he's like, no, she grabbed the wheel. And I'm sitting there like looking at him like, what the hell? Like, in tears. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So that was like I knew it was like, I had to go. I just had to go. And then we separated, and he started to stalk me. Like, he was stalking me. And I was like, and it was just going downhill and downhill and downhill with
like,
my
dude,
alcoholism.
You cheated on me multiple times.
Yeah.
And I'm the one that can't be trusted all of a sudden?
Exactly. So,
like, you were faithful the entire time you were pregnant, while he's in Kuwait cheating on you probably with the same person over and over again.
Yeah.
And
that's exactly what happened.
And then comes back. I'm just trying to put it all together. Comes back, and I know we're running long, but like I said, there's no time limit, so I hope you got time. Okay, so you come back. He comes back. You decide, you know what? And I'm surprised at your personality. You're like, yeah, I'll give you another chance for the kids. Mm-hmm. And you gave him another chance, and within months, he fucked it up and then started hitting you.
Yeah. That's basically, yeah. And it was just, after that, it was just one abusive relationship after another. And I remember my ex-husband, not my now husband, my ex-husband, he was a veteran and he had PTSD. He was diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. He was in and out of the mental institute. The kids and I, the kids couldn't visit him, but the kids and I, I tried to keep our family together because he was an amazing dad, like, to the kids. He adopted my kids. So my kids were adopted by him.
Is this husband number 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he adopted them, and we were together for a long time. And I remember he started becoming, like, he started throwing things. Like, he would be very verbally abusive. And to me, I was used to it because that's what I grew up with, And my mom came to visit, and I hadn't seen my mom in years. Hadn't seen her in years. And she came to visit, and we had this beautiful home. He was an immigration attorney. We had this beautiful home. My kids did not want for anything, couldn't complain.
You're out of the military at this point?
Yeah, we're both out of the military because he was a veteran.
Are you stay-at-home mom at this point? Because he was an attorney? Okay.
Yeah. So I was able to stay home with my kids.
In North Carolina? I'm just trying to piece
we ended up moving to Tennessee.
Now you're in Tennessee. Okay.
Yeah. So
you move around state-wise like I did.
Yeah. So we were in Tennessee, and then he started getting, like, his mental health started deteriorating. So I've always dealt with people with mental health issues. Like, my mom is bipolar,
Yeah.
I'm
bipolar.
Yeah. So, Kaylani was diagnosed bipolar. My ex-husband has narcissistic personality disorder. So it's like, I've always dealt with people with mental health issues. And
I'm glad you're going to school for psychology.
I know. Actually, that's part of the reason why. Because I'm like, no,
Yeah,
something has to
you
give.
know it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I divorced him, and he was trying not to get divorced. I divorced him after he just threw a cup of coffee at me. I was like, oh, hell no. Nope, I'm not doing this again, you know? My mom looked at me and she goes, you need to ask yourself, like serious face, like, you need to ask yourself why you keep getting with these type of men. And at that point, I was in and out of therapy. I looked at her and I said, you, girlfriend, because of you. And she's just like, no. And my mom will never admit that she was an abusive mother. My younger brother and I do not speak to my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And she will never admit. And I'm like, it's because it literally clicked.
Like
When she said that, it clicked everything that the therapist said.
Yeah.
It's what I was used to. I was used to the physical abuse. I was used to the verbal abuse. It was normal.
Normalized. It was normalized to you at a young age.
Exactly. So, and I didn't realize until I got, my kids got older, like that, the choices I made in that sense affected my kids, and I caused them trauma, and I was trying to protect them from the trauma that I went through, but I gave them a whole nother set of trauma,
Yeah.
So when we got divorced, I was by myself. It was me and the kids. We were so happy. It was just like a whole nother, like my mental health was getting better. I had stopped completely drinking. So we're at like 2017, 2018 now.
Okay, nice.
So like
have you drank since then?
Every once in a while, and then I'm like
a dinner, like out of dinner or some shit.
Yeah, like my now husband, he's like he just looks and he's like, and he'll like after 2, he's like, you're done,
Yeah, yeah.
So, because I can still get down now.
I believe you.
So, yeah. So after that, I was just happy. I got into a relationship with this guy, and everything was great. Then when we decided to move in together, boom, the abuse started. Right away.
The abuse? You said abuse?
Yes.
Okay.
So that started right away. He was jealous, and I was just like, dude, you have nothing to worry about. Like, you brush it off. Like, there's always that little bit of jealousy in a relationship. But then he became possessive, and then he was hitting me, and I was with him for 3 years. And then I finally was just like, I'm done. Like, I'm done. So now
you didn't marry him.
I didn't. He wanted to get married.
My
now husband was the kid's he was Kaylani's soccer coach. She got us together. So she tells him all the time. She tells him, like, we get into arguments and stuff, but she tells him all the time, she's like, you owe me because I got you with my mama.
Was he in the military?
No.
See, that's why it's working. That's why it's working. Yes. You finally stopped marrying military men.
Yeah. No, he works in commercial construction.
That's awesome. And how long you guys been married for?
We've been married for almost a year.
Almost a year. Congrats a year. You. So you were together for a few years then before you got married.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go ahead and...
You weren't going to get married right away again. You had to wait and see what was going to happen because your history is shown. Give them a little bit and they're going to show you who they are.
Exactly. I mean, and it's crazy, our date 1, I trauma dumped him. It was a 12-hour date. I trauma dumped him. I said, listen, this is the traumas that I deal with. This is what I deal with on a daily basis. I have a bipolar mom. My kid is bipolar. A kid is on the spectrum. Like, this is boom. It's like vomit. It was like diarrhea just coming out. It just kept coming out. And I was like, because at the end of the day, I want you to be like, if it's not going to work, let's figure that out now.
Yeah. That was my Tinder profile, Connie. I'm an alcoholic. I'm a drug addict. I'm in recovery. I'm 420, but you can drink. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
And, like getting it all out of the way. Like, if you don't like people in recovery, swipe left.
Yeah.
And then I put like a joke at the end.
Yeah.
And I met my wife, on Tinder. And my wife had they weren't married. They were separated, not divorced.
Yeah.
Because their ex took forever to sign the papers. But they had moved out on their own because the ex-husband said, I'm not leaving. You have to be the one to leave. So like that kind of attitude. So they had to find their own place and to bring the 5-year-old with. And, Dominic, who's now my stepson, he's a great co-parent though. We co-parent amazing with him.
Yeah.
And my wife and him get along great. My wife's still his emergency contact for the hospital and shit. So in case anything happens, because he just had a medical scare and my wife's the emergency contact for that. Like, we co-parent great with him, but they just great as a couple. And a month and a half after leaving him, we match on Tinder and we're like, you know, right away, like, what are you looking for? Friends with benefits. What are you looking for? Friends with benefits. Perfect. And then we talked for 4 days, just texting. So we lived an hour and a half away. So we were just texting for like 4 days straight. And we finally met because Dominic was home all week with them. And then Dominic went with his dad on that Sunday. And then as soon as literally I was around the corner waiting for my wife to be like, okay, he's picked up, because I wasn't going to meet the kid, you know, right away. Yeah. I didn't meet him until 3 months into us seeing each other. Yeah. And because we wanted to be sure, you know, and we were like taking our time. And so the first night we hung out, we watched a movie, we smoked some weed, we slept together, and then we said, I love you at the same time. Like, immediately after sleeping with each other, the first night we met. Yeah. And, you know, a month later, I proposed to her. And, you know, when the paperwork was finally signed for the divorce at the lawyer's office, it was on Main Street across from the courthouse. So we walked to the courthouse across the street from the lawyers that they're signing the paperwork and got our marriage license. And this is during COVID. And then Katie Severance, you know, our best friend.
Oh, I remember her.
Drove up from Jersey during COVID, November 27th, and right after your birthday, November 27th, 2020. And we ordered some Domino's, we smoked a lot of weed, and we got married in the living room.
Hey, whatever works.
So we were married 5 years this November.
That's good.
Yeah, thank you. So, you know, when you know, but like we still like, it's crazy though sometimes. All right, so you meet this dude, you trauma dump, you know, because Mikey and I, we trauma dumped on each other a lot when we first met, you know, in those 4 days of talking. But it was nice. It was a good way to get it out of the way, because like I'm not going to talk to you for 2 weeks and then you find out that I'm an addict in recovery, and like then I wasted 2 weeks of my life talking to you.
Exactly.
And feelings? No, I'm going to tell you exactly who I am, and we can go our separate ways right away and get this bullshit out of the way.
Yeah.
So, and Mikey didn't run when they learned about me, and I didn't run when I learned about them. And you know, but
he didn't run. He just kept coming back.
They came out as non-binary about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, he didn't run. He just kept coming back, coming back. But I will say, I think part of the reason why it's working. I mean, we have our problems. Like there's no perfect relationship. No, I mean, this is here in Georgia. I had already moved to Georgia. So, like, nobody's perfect. And one thing that we did, our daughters are so close. They're only 6 months apart, like 6 months apart. So it was his daughter's an only child. Kaylani is an only daughter on either side. She's an only daughter. So it was a lot. It was a major transition with them. And we dealt with a lot of issues because trying to blend the family is very hard, especially when they're older. I thought it'd be easier, but that's a lot. So one thing we did want to do, because he's had traumas in his past relationships, he would try to be like, well, they all cheated on me, but I don't care. I'm like, you're a fucking liar. Yes, you do care. That's why you want locations. That's why, you know what I mean? Like, if you didn't care, you wouldn't care to have which I don't care if he has my location, but still, you know, like those small things tell you that did affect you, but you want to put on this hard. So we do go to marriage counseling every couple weeks.
Yeah, it's amazing. We do it every 2 weeks.
Yeah, and you don't realize, he starts to realize just how toxic and traumatizing his childhood was. Because I'm like, that's not normal. And he's like, what? I'm like, that is not fucking normal. And he goes, well, yeah, that's how we protect ourselves. I'm like, stealing from each other? Well, you know, they were taking money from him. And I'm like, if your mom knows that comes out of your account and she's keeping the money, that's stealing. Like, they're stealing. And it would be an argument because they're so close, and his mom was always involved. And finally the therapist was like, you guys are your own family, you know, like do your own thing. Your mom needs to stop butting out, you know. And the same thing with my mom and I had spoken again, and she just feels like my kids, she's so possessive, especially over Kaylani. I'm like, that's my child, you know. So we've had to learn to set boundaries, and when I tell you, it's been rough, especially with our mothers. They're not speaking to us right now, which I'm not. I'm just like, I don't care. I'm telling my mom, like, mentally, I just can't do it with you anymore. So, I can see we feed off of each other. Our demons, literally, and I say demons because, like, they literally feed off of each other. And then Kaylani gets anxiety, and then all of us are like, rah, rah, rah. And I'm like, I don't want this life. Like, so I'm thankful for marriage therapy because we're able to work through some stuff that, I'm his first marriage, and his parents, they're married. They've been married all his life, but they've never lived together. His dad has always gone away for work. So he doesn't, to him, it's normal I'm like, that's not a normal marriage.
And that's normal, right? Yeah.
And it's not normal when you go to your dad's house and he has pictures of other women on his walls.
What? Get the fuck out
so
of
I'm
here.
like, that's not a normal. So, yeah. So, I mean, he doesn't cheat, which is good. He gives it back to me when I get smart.
So, it's you said something that it reminded me of. I can relate. Kind of. My mom and my dad, until he passed. But like they've never met my wife's parents. My mom and my mom, Mikey. My wife's name is Mikey. Mykee. That's not her non-binary name. That's her name since she was born.
Oh, okay.
Her dad was a narcissist and wanted a boy, and his name was Michael, so he named her Michael. But it's spelled Michel, and everyone called her Mikey, Mykee. So like their name has been Mikey their entire life, and everyone calls them Michelle, and it's like no, it's Michael.
It's Michael.
And yeah, so Mikey went non-contact with their mom about 2 years ago because their mom doesn't understand boundaries, and it's just like it's bad. And and Mikey's dad left when they were 2, and like I said earlier, and their stepdad from when they were 4 to 6 years old is their dad. That's who they call dad. He was only in their life as like the stepdad from 4 to 6.
Yeah.
And because their mom hopped relationships quite like yours. And that was their mom was an alcoholic and hopped around relationships. And that's they even though their mom is married to somebody else since they were in high school and they're still together to this day, 20 years later, they just call him by his name, his first name, but they call dad their stepdad from when they were 4. And he's been sober for 35 years, and he's a great guy. He comes down all the time from Rochester, New York. He drives down. He's a really cool guy. I like him a lot. But like Bruce, their stepdad and my dad and mom never met, and Mikey's mom, my mom and dad never met to this day. And it's because we got married by ourselves. No one knew we were getting married. It was only us two and Katie. So, all of a sudden my dad sent me $1,000 and thanked me for not having a big wedding.
My mom has never been to any of my married weddings. Never to any.
Hilarious. It's hilarious. We're both the same when it comes to that.
Yeah, I got married to my husband and there's a park over here, and it was just us, a couple of our close friends. No parents were there, and just our kids. Yeah. That is it. Last minute, awesome. We texted, hey, we're gonna marry the same. And then we went to Olive Garden afterwards.
We had Domino's. I can't say shit. I guess.
Yeah.
Well, we were during COVID, so like we really had an excuse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, right in our living room. We just had. I wore a mesh shirt. I wore this probably not this, but I mean I wore a black shirt and some shorts and some meshies, and just chilled and just smoked some weed, watched some movies, and yeah, it was an amazing night. Just like it's been so nice catching up with you, and now I feel like we're gonna be friends and talk more.
Yes,
like
for sure.
Now, like we know each other more often like this. Like I wish we would have became friends then, but I feel like we wouldn't have been where we are now.
No.
Like I feel like a lot has happened with both of us in the last 20 years since the last time we talked. And now we're completely grown up adults who have lived experiences and, you know, have more understanding and more empathy. Because I feel like
Yeah.
you didn't have a lot of empathy
No.
when you were in high school, and you were very like, get the fuck out of my way, or I will beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, I didn't want to deal with anybody because dealing with the physical abuse, dealing with the verbal abuse, trying to get through the essay, trying to, you know, and I just felt like it was not something, you know, in Hispanic families, it's not something you talk about, you know, you don't tell your business, you don't do this, you don't do that. And I honestly, I hated it there. Like I don't want to say that all of it was bad, because it wasn't. I have some good memories in high school. And I sit there, I'm like, damn, we did some dumb shit. You know what I mean? Like I do have some good memories of high school, but at the same time, I feel like because my mom was like, you can't talk, you can't do this, and I couldn't really be open with people, I didn't really get to know too many people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you can't reveal what's going on in your house. Like you can't show the skeletons in the closet. You can't, you know, and I always wore jeans, and that was for a reason, you know. It was very rare anybody ever saw me. I don't think I started wearing shorts until after I had my kids.
I believe it. I always saw you wearing jeans. Now I think about it.
Yeah.
Wait, what was the reason?
Well, when you're being physically abused and you have welts and
your mom would hit your legs.
Welts to the point where they were bleeding, you know. It's just like we didn't have sleepovers, we didn't. And but when my mom would see, they're like, your mom is so cool, and I'm sitting here like, oh, I have no idea. And I would sit there and be like, watch what you guys tell my mom, because we're gonna get her ass beat later. Like, so it was one of those things. If you didn't get close to anybody, you didn't get hurt, because the one person that was supposed to protect us was not. So it's like, if she wouldn't do it, no one else will do it, which I find out now at almost 40 years old, that's not the case. You know, there is somebody out there that is going to love and care for you and take care of you, you know. And my kids, our family is the village that we've built throughout the years. It's not family. And I'm grateful for that, because, you know, as you know, Kaylani has some trauma that she had to deal with. So
yep. Damn. Damn. You know, there's been 2 hours and 11 minutes of damn, shit, fuck, holy shit, what happened was
what happened was
you're awesome. I've loved this last 2 hours getting to know you and joke around and talk about old times and hear more about you and have a better understanding of what made you and look at you now and like the person you become out of all the shit, you know, your parents we talked a lot about in the last 2 hours. And how do you feel getting all that out?
I mean, it feels great. Like I said, I've been in and out of therapy, but to be able to talk to somebody that I know, you know, that, you know, and kind of tell them like, this is my truth, because nobody knew my truth that I grew up with. Only like my therapist knew my truth. So it feels great. And it's like you said, like we've come a long way. Like I told you, I'm finishing up my degree in psychology, and then I'm going to law school. So, I mean, I'm going into law and psychology so that I can help change. I work in correctional healthcare, so I see people with addiction all the time. And I see people in and out of the prison system all the time. And addiction, it's due to addiction, you know? So I want to help those people. And when I saw you were doing this, like I would easily, like, you know, I'd be like, hey, like, I'm going to reach out to him one day. Then when you said, trauma's like, trauma's my middle name.
That's literally what you said. It's literally what you said. And I was like, well, or you want to do the show? And you were like, yeah. I'm like, let's fucking do it, dude.
Let's do it. We'll catch up. And yes, for sure. And if ever I'm in Pennsylvania, I'll definitely hit you up so we can go out. I'll meet your wife. You can meet my husband. We can meet the people that deal with us on a daily basis.
I live in the middle of nowhere, and it's great. You know, we live in a college town. We live in a college town, but we don't live downtown anymore, where all the college kids live. We live in an apartment complex on the outskirts of town, and our son goes to the better school. Then the other school has much more bullying. Our son goes to the better school now that we moved out of downtown 2 years ago. And my wife's like I said, they have MS, and so we had to get an apartment because our old apartment was on the second floor with some shitty steps. So it was they felt trapped. They could never leave the house because they were stuck. And so we found this place. It cost a lot of money for the area, but 3 full bedrooms, 3 full bathrooms. Like you know, each of us have our own shower. You know, not only bathroom, shower, everything, and you know we have our own spaces, and it's just amazing. So we don't plan on moving out of here. I don't care about living in a house. You know,
me either.
I don't mind living in an apartment complex.
Yeah.
I don't need a lot to be happy, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Like I don't need a lot. So amazing. Don't hang up once the music plays. I'm playing music real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hang up. I gotta talk to you 1 second. But thank you again for doing the show. You're amazing. Come on anytime.
Of course. Have me anytime.
Hang on. It's